be the president. That's why you voted for that guy, because you can't stand me. Because I'm always trying to keep you straight.
So that.
And all these people that voted for the new man are all new board members except for Tom.
Can I say something?
Not a discrimination, we brought it back to him. We don't do that.
That was my point of clarification.
So now with a 7-3-1 vote, we now accept Aaron Ostrom as approved by the board by a majority. Aaron, you will now take a seat at large.
Congratulations.
In item number 4, it also indicates that we have a vacancy. You can sit right up here, or over here, wherever you like. Item number 4 is also one filling the vacancy in the South region. The South region is has a more defined area. It's not at large, it's anywhere 90032. We will only take those stakeholders who have a relationship or stakeholdership, either reside, have business, have property, or attend maybe Cal State LA. Anything that draws you a connection to the South region, which is on the other side of the train tracks here, which is the Pacific Electric Railway, Union Pacific. The Union Pacific. So if you live in the South region and you wish to fill the vacancy specifically and exclusively for the South region, nominate yourself or raise your hand if you're interested. Ruben Chavez. Right. South, I'm just indicating the region. And you qualify as a stakeholder for the South region?
Qualified for anywhere.
Right, but you mentioned you were a stakeholder here at large.
Yes, but I'm also a member of the parade committee. I'm also the president of the El Sereno Veterans Monument Committee.
Okay, those sir are not in the South region. This has to be exclusively.
There's no one here from the South region, so it's open to everybody.
There's no candidate from the same region, the board members in the top runner candidates.
From any other category.
Or at large.
Correct, but he's not a top runner-up anymore. He's a C, stakeholder, nominated from the stakeholders. That passed already.
How did it pass?
B,
Because you just voted Aaron in.
right,
But
B,
now,
there's,
we're going to the South region, so that, again, he's the top runner.
right, but remember last month again, he declined, so he's not on the canvas vote no more. He's not here.
Complete,
It still exists, but when he
the election
declined,
was voided.
But when Jen was president, she would still consider them every time.
if they're not here. If they showed up and said, hey, my name's on the list, but I don't want to do that, to me, that's a no. I would still continue and call him month after month after month if he never was present, meaning he never declined. Since he declined, you declined. You're out.
Does that make any sense? Last month he declined.
He was here last month. You remember he was here last month? That's right. Exactly. He wanted to give the opportunity to someone else. So he declined.
The election was
So that's what
canceled.
happened. So now what we're doing is we need to take from the South region. And those, those stakeholders need to represent the South region. So thanks for the clarification, Kathy. What we're doing is we're filling a South region vacancy. Like I said, it has to be exclusively to the South region.
If there's
We
no
have
one here
one
from the
nomination.
South region, it's
You
open
wish
to
to nominate
anybody.
yourself?
No, thank you.
We're
But-
not taking
A point
input.
of clarification,
Okay, I'll answer your question then.
I can't really hear what Kathy was saying. I think she was reading the bylaws, but because he ran, it qualifies him at this point to fill any seat.
Correct,
Even though he didn't run for South Region, the fact that he ran alone qualifies.
correct.
But you're saying he doesn't qualify.
No, you're absolutely right with your statement, because as he ran as a candidate, he qualifies for any position. But last month, when he came here, he declined.
I know, but that
And he
doesn't
says, I want to give
qualify
it to someone else. So what that does to me is it removes him from the list.
For that day, but today,
Not
he
today,
stands up.
not today.
You're wrong. For
Not
that
today.
day, he
You
declined.
just got here, listen.
But today,
I'm
don't
running
yell
the
at
meeting.
me,
I'm
but
running the
today he
meeting.
needs to, he
I'm
has
running the
every
meeting.
right
I'm
to
also a Cal
self-nominate.
State alumni, okay? I'm an Eagle.
He has the
Great.
right to self-nominate
Thank you,
today.
sir. Now you qualify as a South Region stakeholder. Thank you.
There's always a way or a will to get it wrong.
He doesn't know.
So now do we have any other South Region?
Then challenge him. Yeah, challenge him. If someone's challenging you, we have.
Okay. One moment. Does someone else want to add in here?
You don't know what he's
Do we have any other nominations for the South Region?
Too bad you didn't come before you got elected or appointed as the
That's from Ohio.
president.
We're asking for any other nominations.
Oh, no, actually, he is.
Lorenzo,
Yeah, he's on
yeah, what did you need to ask him?
We want to challenge you, and you're not doing the bylaws correctly.
We are doing the bylaws correct.
I'm just trying to see
I've been doing
what
that for like, just
I was
bear
trying
with
to
me.
say
Bear
that.
with me.
Can we get Dunn's interpretation before we go to the format?
One moment. Hugo, what's your question?
Can we get Dunn's interpretation before we go to this whole?
What do you need to ask them though? I don't get it.
See, Anthony,
There's only one candidate right now, so I really don't get it. So whether we do it the way you think we should be doing it, because I heard what I heard last month, or we do it the way we're doing it, we still only have one person on the list. Right, and it's the same individual, so I don't get, there is no questions.
if there's a challenge on the floor, and which is something I don't want to do, Anthony, because it takes so much time.
Correct.
And you're gonna have to go through the whole thing and
I
explain
understand that.
everything based on the bylaws, based on standard rules, based on parliamentary procedure. And that's where I'm trying to get to avoid this point. I don't want to challenge this thing. I'm trying to get, I actually trying to get some fairness without having to go through this great big procedure.
The
So,
fairness is we're taking from the stakeholders because last month Ruben was asked. He declined. Me as the president, what I do is once we give you the opportunity and you say no, we don't ask you again because you declined. I didn't decline for him. The individual who was eligible said, let someone else do it.
That was just for last
Not
month.
me.
Today's a new day, so. he
Listen,
can nominate.
I'm the one making the decisions.
Wait
Wait
up.
I'm sorry, Lorenzo would like to speak. He's standing
Point of order, Lorenzo Briceño with the Department of Labor and Empowerment. At this time, the discussion of what took place and what happened and what didn't happen is irrelevant. Mr. Chavez qualifies, just in fact, he's a Cal State alum, and I think
Correct.
that's what we have at the table, and that's what we should proceed.
That's what we
Exactly.
should proceed with.
Thank you, thank you. It makes it very simple. It really makes it very simple. He qualifies, he's Cal State alumni, he's in the South region, he's self-nominated himself, we're in compliance with the bylaws. We're doing exactly what we're supposed to do. So is there any other stakeholders or anyone else wishing to nominate for the South region, exclusively the South region?
You must live, go to school, work, or be
And
an
University
alumni.
Hill?
University Hill.
No nominations from this side? Any nominations from this side for the public? This would be the last call for stakeholders. Any stakeholders wishing to self-nominate for the South region? Okay, seeing none, Ruben Chavez is our only candidate. There is no need to go through the nomination process. There's only one candidate, South region. Ruben qualifies. We're only going to take one vote. I'm going to ask, does the board need to hear another comment from Ruben Chavez? Because I'll give him 2 more minutes. No, I heard one no, a second no. Mr. Chavez, you spoke earlier for 2 minutes. We're going to use that same input that you spoke to us to now base a decision. You're the only nomination. You qualify for the South region, and now the board will take a vote.
Well, I would like to express myself about the community now.
We heard
Last time
the board said no. It's the same thing. You're the same candidate that was in here 10 minutes ago. So now this is a non-tabulation vote, meaning it's a non-funding item. I'm going to take a show of hands. Ruben Chavez, let me write down South region, is the only candidate nominated by the board. And now we'll take a board vote. All in favor of approving Ruben Chavez to fill in the South region, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those opposing Ruben Chavez, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's going to be, right, those who wish to abstain, raise your hand, and it's one from me, one from 2, so 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The tabulation for Ruben Chavez is 5-5-2. 5 in favor, 5 opposed, 2 abstentions. 5 is not the majority of the 12 sitting at the board, and 5 does not earn him a seat here. So Ruben Chavez, you've seen the process. The board did not approve your nomination this evening. That will close now, since we actually finished the process, that will close item 4. Item 5 is our board members' comments and announcements. We did take our announcements, but we're now moved to department reports. Oddly enough, we have, let me review right. The department reports will either be the police department, we don't have any here this evening. The Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. Lorenzo, did you have any input from the department, any announcements?
Who are you?
No, not at this time, I don't have any updates from the
You just
department.
want to introduce yourself and maybe just say that you're taking the place of Tom Sloan. because
Yes,
he's busy
for
this evening.
tonight's meeting, Lorenzo Briseño, Department of Labor and Empowerment. I'm a project coordinator and I cover the Hollywood region, Region 5. This is my first night at this meeting. I'm filling in for Thomas Soon. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be sitting back here. Feel free to ask.
Thank you so much. That's the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment representative from City Hall. Now, on here, we have Bureau of Engineering. Do we have any staff from the Bureau of Engineering? Item 5A is closed. Now we have our public safety reports. Is there anybody here? You're coming right up, which is, yes. 1. Yeah, now is department reports.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Juan Guzman, El Sereno Rec Center Director. Before I get to my announcements, I actually just have a brief and sincere apology, okay? I know you guys had a great event in terms of the Guide Festival a couple weeks ago. And I was working with Michelle, communicating with her, and I dropped the ball and I didn't communicate properly. Okay, so I kind of left her up in the air and didn't give adequate information. When I returned back from vacation, which made it worse, again, I apologize. I contacted Julio, and Julio assured me that cannabis was taken care of. So I do apologize to all of you, but specifically Michelle, for the added stress or frustration that may have caused just by the lack of communication. I understand the event was great, and you guys had people in the community had a great time. But again, I do apologize to all of you and anyone that attended. But we may not even have an idea what I'm talking about. But I do apologize sincerely to all of you, and specifically Michelle. Okay? Thank you. In terms of our announcements, just brief announcements. The Summer Night Light registration at the Rec Center will begin Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Okay, we will be sending out an email tonight for those people on our email list. But anyone that wants to get added to our email list is elsereno.recreationcenter@lacity.org. Okay, we'll be sending out that information tonight. We will offer this summer co-ed basketball, adult basketball, girls softball, adult softball. The fields have been open since October, so we are playing games right now that many of you may have saw on the way by. We're about halfway through our baseball softball season, which is where I'll be going in a few minutes to go supervise some of those games. We will be offering a girls basketball program as well this summer, before the Summer Night Light program hours, so a lot of stuff is happening. Our free LA Kids classes, the free classes that the department puts out, have begun this week. We have guitar, we have gymnastics, we have a team cooking class. We have lots of exciting activities and classes at the Rec Center. Summer camp registration will open tomorrow as well. Okay, so if anyone that needs a place to send either your kids or the neighbors' kids during the summer, send them to El Sereno Rec Center. We have 9 weeks of summer for summer camp. We'll be going to Disneyland, Knott's Farm, Magic Mountain, the beach, Raging Waters, you name it, we'll be there, okay? Other than that, we will be opening up fall sports registration about the second week of July. And we're pretty excited that we expect to host our department's region softball and baseball finals with our new fields. Yes, anyone has any other questions? Those are our announcements for the Rec Center tonight. Yes.
The LA Kids program, gymnastics and cooking, what days are those?
Right now, the team cooking class is Monday night. Gymnastics is on Tuesday. We have a bunch of classes on Wednesday and Thursday as well. We have an improv class, theater class. We were going to have skateboarding, but I believe the next step on our construction project is the skate park, so that may not, that class is not happening right now. I can email you the flyer. I know Michelle always does a great job. Once we send it out, she puts it on the website and she sends it out.
It's a sewing, a brain
Perfect, she's
teaser,
probably looking at it now.
painting 101, sewing it up.
Correct.
Those are all the new ones.
Correct, and this week was the first week of those classes and the first time we've had some of them in quite a while. With any other questions or comments?
Any other board questions for the park director, Juan Guzman?
And again, if I'm not here myself, I'll do my best to send staff members here each month so we can report on what we're doing.
They've also been very helpful at our Wednesday meetings for the executive committee.
Great. Thank you. I found that last week.
Yes.
So moves back from vacation, so we're better.
One, I got a question.
Yes, sir, George.
When is the product program starting?
You know what, George, I can get that to you, I can email you. I know that, I believe the products manager is set to return.
Yes, sir.
And of course, it always goes on Mondays, but I can get you that info. I'll send it to you, okay? Any other questions, comments?
Anything further from the board?
The demolition that's happening with the.
Okay, the
clubhouse.
old gym clubhouse has been torn down. Right now, we still have fencing just to secure the area, but I am waiting and on clarification on what the next steps are and when they'll begin.
And what will they be putting?
I believe there was some ideas before about an outdoor basketball court, some fitness equipment, there was some picnic tables. It's my understanding we will be revisiting that again, because I know a lot of that was in place even before I got here.
So when you get that new information.
Absolutely.
Give it to us.
Absolutely.
We can attend.
Absolutely. Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Juan.
I would like to really congratulate you and the department here of, you're doing an excellent job with our kids. These are our kids. We're investing in them, and the fact that you're going to go all these places during the summer. Because when I was a kid, I participated also, and I got to, and so it really helps to keep those kids out of jail.
Well, thank you. Everything we do happens first through the help of volunteers, so we can't do it ourselves, and thank you. All right, good night, everybody.
Thank you, Juan. Do we have any other department reports? Do we have public safety, LAPD, or fire department reports? Or government reports? Is there any representatives from the senator's office? Congressional district representatives? Senators and assembly members? Mayor's office, county supervisors, city council members? Other neighborhood council members throughout the city? City attorney's office and the budget advocates? Item 5 is closed. We now move to item 6, which is our public comment period. This gives the stakeholders which is you the opportunity to address us on any items that are not on the agenda. Anything that you feel is a concern, any ideas, any programs, projects, or activities that you wish to hear, you can express them to us. We give you 3 minutes for your public comment period. We do have public comment cards, but they're locked in the back at this moment, so I'll take a show of hands, and I'll give each stakeholder 3 minutes. Sir, I'll start with you over here. We'll give you 3 minutes to address us. Okay. And it'll be anything that you wish to express, anything that's not on the agenda, though. Excuse me.
This is not on the agenda. First of all, I have to thank the owner of Big Saver for putting on a great event that you all failed to do. Last month was International Children's Month. Every April is Children's International Month, and not a penny was spent by this neighborhood council. Shame on all of you. Second, we need programs, more youth programs for the summer from this council. We need to have, during the summer months when our kids are out of school, we need to have events spent by this board. Work with Parks and Recreations to get us free swimming lessons for our kids. Get our library to do more events like Alhambra does with their kids during the summer month. But it's a shame, nobody does anything for our kids. Second of all, the money that is going to be spent on your anniversary, think about this before you spend that money. There are kids in this community that go to bed hungry every damn night. Let's start a program so we can have lunches for them during the summer. We don't need to spend $2,500 for an anniversary when there are kids that are hungry in this community. Think about the people, the kids. Some of those parents have to work 3 jobs just to pay rent. We have to ask you, UCLA, USC, and Kaiser to come up and set a program for our kids to help them with diabetes. Diabetes is the #1 killer in this country. And our youths are now getting diabetes at a high rate. So let's get the mobile people out here from those following agencies and bring them to our community to speak to our teens and our youth. Diabetes is not a joke. I don't know how many people on that board have diabetes. I have diabetes, but mine is really, I have it really controlled. And above all, I ask for one thing, that the board member ask in the executive committee, have an emergency meeting to get these things I just asked for our summer youth programs to be on the agenda for next month. Because summer is coming and our youths are going to be out here and, you know, they don't have summer jobs. We need programs for our youths. You don't want to see them up and down getting in trouble. And I don't know where Miguel's at, but do have, this would be passed on to Miguel. I'm asking Miguel to appoint a watchdog committee to oversee the neighborhood council. I'm sick and tired of coming to these meetings, like the executive meeting last night. I thought I would have had a damn Thanksgiving dinner. So unfunctional and disrespectful to a person from Dunn to get up and walk out. That's not your job. You got elected to do a job. Well, listen to the people that have something to say. Don't get up and walk out until the chair says something about it. And I have, Mr. Torres is not here, but I talked to Mr. Torres. Mr. Torres and
We'll let you finish your thought, sir.
Mr. Torres and I are going to meet with the owner of WTS, the building where the tennis place is at, and with Oscar De La Hoya. It's time to get an El Sereno Teen Center, not run by non-profit groups, but run by the teens in Chase Bank.
Thank you, sir.
To be a teen center for our youth.
Thank you. Thank you. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Thank you so much. I heard the stakeholder mention a couple things. I'm going to ask the board members, which is the chair of the Sports and Recreation Committee, Jackie. You mentioned something about perhaps offering free swimming classes, so be sure you put that on an agenda for Sports and Recreation Committee to see if we could work on that. The stakeholder just mentioned it, to see if we could work on free swimming classes. Maybe we could provide it and then open it to the public and then maybe give free swimming classes. And then also he said, reading at the library. And you've done that once, Perla, which was a great job. Maybe you could consider hosting something like that again for the summer. So that would be the education committee. So those two things would be set to committee. Did you have a?
Just a point of clarification, is this for the 2016-17 budget or the 2017-18?
Probably going to be the 2017 and 2018 by the time the committees do their work. But we just have two, I just sort of delegated to committee requests. Thank you, Tom. Anything else from the public now? Yes, we have a hand. I see the hand up in the back first, which is Troy. Come speak to us, Troy. We'll give you 3 minutes.
All right, good evening, board. Good evening, stakeholders. My name is Troy Carbajal. A lot of you know me. I'm a resident here at El Sereno, and I also run the Ascot Hills Challenge 5K, which we are going on our third annual. So I would like to request that this item be agendized for the Sports and Rec Committee as soon as possible. I have yet to confirm a date with the councilman's office. However, one is set for next Friday. So by next Friday, I will have that date confirmed. It's already a tentative date. And once that happens, it's going to be marketing time for that event. As you all know, the proceeds from that event have benefited the community in a few ways. We have donated seed money for Ascot Hills Park, which where the event is held. We have also donated funds for the Los Angeles Fire Department Cadet Magnet Program at Wilson High School, my alma mater. So it's a great program. I know people have concerns, this gentleman that just spoke, but I also want you guys to know that there is programs coming. Myself, Marlene, who's the former president of this board, we go up to Ascot Hills every Saturday, beginning right after the weekend of July 4th. Every Saturday we have free classes, if you want to call them classes, but we hike, we jog, we jump rope. Anthony, you've seen some of the equipment I have out there, and it's free. It's for anybody who wants to come. Their fitness level, it doesn't matter. We can walk the trails, we can hike the trails, and there's plenty of equipment I throw out there for anybody who wants to come and use it. I have spoke to the schools. Jackie has invited me. Michelle, I've worked with Michelle a few times as well. So I'm out there doing what I can do, but I'm going to need support from this board and hopefully potential for a sponsor as well. So I hope to see you guys soon out there, and I'll be looking forward to meeting with all you in the very near future.
Troy, do you have a website or something that somebody can...
Right now our website is AscotHillsChallenge.com. However, That website now is only going to take you to a registration site, which will be up probably within the next 30 days. So the event tentatively is in September. I'm not going to say the date yet because I have yet to confirm that with the councilman's office. But it will be at the end of September. Every year, for the last 2 years anyway, it's our third annual, we have had that event in September. So nothing's going to change with that. Last year, we were able to sponsor 100 kids within a 9032 area code. And my goal this year is to sponsor as many seniors as well. I already have a course laid out for them. I don't expect to do the whole 3.1 mile hill challenge. However, I do have a nice little course for the seniors as well. And they'll also be receiving a t-shirt and a medal. And this year we're going to be providing a nice, healthy breakfast, whole wheat pancakes, or a trace of turkey sausage, or turkey bacon. So we're doing all we can to get this event pretty exciting, even more exciting than it has in the last 2 years. We do have the fire chief, Ralph Terrazas, the fire chief, come out. Him and I ace the children. So last year we had 311, and I hope to at least do that this year as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Troy.
Question.
Thank you.
You didn't mention the hours, the beginning and ending of the hours.
We don't take public comment on the public comment.
Oh,
We
you
don't do that.
didn't mention that.
I can answer
Yes.
the question.
Troy, I just want to say thank you for your efforts and contribution to health and fitness.
Absolutely.
And Kathy, Jackie, you heard the request to put it on the public.
We spoke a little bit about that this weekend.
That's what we like. You approach us and we'll find a committee to address it.
That was a point of clarification, Mr. President,
There's no
when I asked them the question.
clarification. This is public comment. There's no clarification.
But I didn't understand it.
Then you can speak to the gentleman in the foyer.
They didn't hear it.
Then they can speak to him in the foyer. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. You have to understand, Mr. Chavez, we have a meeting to run here, okay? We cannot have no interruptions. I'm trying to be as polite and professional as possible. At some point, I'm not going to be so polite. We'll still take public comment. We'll be 3 minutes, sir. You're right up here.
All right, I just want to address development that's taking place.
I just wanted your name so I can take notes.
Okay, it's Peter.
Peter, thank you.
You need my last name?
No, I don't need that.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm concerned about unchecked development in the community where we are in the possibility of losing our open spaces. El Sereno, one thing that makes it special is the fact that the few places in Los Angeles that has open natural spaces, right? The rest of the city doesn't have it. El Sereno does. And right over here, this hillside, which is Lombard and Eastern. There is beautiful nature right there in the city for all of us to experience. And I'm concerned about having it proposed to be developed into multi-housing, right? I mean, there's plenty of places within the area that can be developed, parking lots and rundown buildings. Let's not destroy our last remaining places of nature. 22, right? But I think, it's a valuable component to all of us citizens of this community. So I don't know how to do that, or...
No, you still have time, Peter, a minute and a half left.
I just wanted to see,
one board member's in it, then you just put
I just wanted to see, has it been addressed, or are we aware?
It's already on the agenda.
Yeah,
Item
you're looking at item 22. Item 22, do you have a copy of the agenda?
Yeah, I don't really understand it.
It's item 22 at the very bottom. We are listening to you, I'm going to give you you're still 1 minute.
No, that's it.
That's it? Okay. Do we have any other public comments? Before we go to the public, yes, Hugo?
And maybe, because I've seen new faces here, if you could just kind of give the rules to people, just one time on how this works, the public comment, and why there is no interaction back and forth, and why they have to wait until the item comes up. Because the gentleman, he needs to wait till that item comes up so he can talk about that, right?
What he did is he started talking about open space and undeveloped land, but he didn't connect until he actually picked the parcel, which did become all of a sudden an agenda item.
Yeah.
But had he talked in general, it would be okay.
Yeah, but that's why Tom was bringing it up, that he could wait until that item comes up and then he could give us 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, but he wouldn't know that there's this item. Clarification, he can keep talking about vacant open space, and
Correct.
there's a lot of it around.
Correct. But he
And as
connected
soon
it.
as he says Lombardi and Eastern.
No, I
She
said,
but he
and he
agreed.
agreed. So he
And
never,
he agreed.
yeah. So I'm the one that mentioned it because he said over there.
Yeah, all I'm saying is if we could just go over, just the
I'll
rules,
I'll
a little bit
assist
so
the
that make it easier
I'll
while
assist the
you're
stakeholder
calling
now.
certain people out of order.
Come to the land use committee meeting.
I'm going to assist the stakeholder for just a moment. And there is a lot of new faces here, which is welcoming. We've been averaging close to 40 people at our meetings for the last couple months. Today we're at right around 23. And what we do is we take public comment. But these public comments must be on non-agenda items for us to allow you, the stakeholders, to express yourself freely, openly for the 3 minutes that I offer. At times in the past, we've had limited speaking time, but for the 3 minutes is ample time to express yourself. The reason why we say it cannot be on an agenda item is because we take public comment on the agenda item when the item is open for discussion and debate. After that, then the board takes a vote. If you're weighing in on items that are on the agenda, we're not able to take an action on it, and therefore we're not allowed to take your public comment on it until the item comes up, only because it has been agendized. Anything that's not on the agenda is open game. So this director, Hugo Pacheco, just asked me to sort of inform the stakeholders, which hopefully you return, and you come back, and you give your input and your influence, just like you heard from the previous speakers. Your programs, your activities, your projects, your proposals come to us. We assign them to a committee tonight, and hopefully within the next 30 days or 60 days, this body is taking action on your input. So it is important to be here. Your influence is valued, and your 3 minutes is, I think, enough time to express yourself so that we're listening and getting a flavor of what you guys would like us to do for you and better serve you in the future.
And there's also no interaction.
Right, and we don't, right, when it's your public comment period, we might ask for a point of clarification, like to clarify the date, please restate the time, or please provide an address, but we don't interact or give discussion back to you because this is your time to express yourselves freely to us without rebuttal.
So
So
clarification.
only if it's public comment.
Yes.
Only,
Well, no, it's on what you were saying,
not on whatever. We
clarification.
don't do that. We don't do that. I just clarified for Hugo. That's what I did, just to help express and inform the stakeholders.
Thinking about the money, they don't know how the money works.
They go to the committee, and we're working on there's money
They don't
for us
know
to spend.
that. I know it.
Okay, but I can't be addressing every stakeholder's clarification throughout the meeting for the next month, for the next month, for the next year. It just takes too much time. The stakeholder will listen, they're aware, we're addressing their concerns, and we're gonna just move business along as easy and as efficiently as possible. If you have public comment, we'll give you 3 minutes, Ruben, but not a point of clarification at this time.
If all the time you took, you could have already explained it to them.
Any other public comment? 3 minutes. Go ahead, George. I'll give you 3 minutes, just let me set this up, and you're set now. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, members of the audience. I have several items to mention. The first one is this past Saturday, it was a very special event in our community. We were honoring our local business, better known as Pagoda Pharmacy. They've been in business for 53 years. They had their grand opening. It was Saturday, April 29th at 10 a.m. We have representation from the neighborhood council, thanks to Jackie Gutierrez. We were there and also taking pictures of the event. We appreciate that. And also we had members from the fire department and police department and members of the community there. And they also gave free items there. Matter of fact, a lot of free items, medical items actually. Okay. And the music and entertainment was provided by the Bicentennial Committee, Genevieve, from the Bicentennial Committee. And just wanted to let you know, folks, that this is the flyer that was passed out. This was from the Our Town El Sereno magazine. And we're planning to put a featured article in our newspaper, the Community Beacon. Of course, that will be coming out next week. It will be considered a Mother's Day issue. Also, the other items that I have here. Oh, yes, the Kite Festival. Guerin from ndpchannel.net. This is it. He videotaped the event, and would you believe that it has already received 1,000 hits on the Kite Festival, you know, that we had this year, and it's growing. And if you want more information on that, go online, ndpchannel.net, and you'll see the Kite Festival on there. The other announcement I have, we have 2 events from Dino's Bomb Squad. I'm also involved with the group. We have 2 events on Sunday, May 21st, at Lincoln Park. There'll be the 6th annual car and bike show, featured by Dino's Bomb Squad. And I have flyers in the back if you're interested in there. Plus, there will be another car show at the Lincoln Park Summer Bash Car and Bike Show on Sunday, June 4th. And that's going to be information. I have flyers available on that too. And, and by the way, just wanted to let you know, folks, we have our film festival coming up. We finally have the flyers for the first annual Lincoln Heights Film Festival. It's going to be held on Saturday, May 20th at Lincoln High School. It's a free event from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it's a family resource fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George. Do we have any other stakeholders who wish to give public comment? Anything from the public? Ruben? Come up, sir. We'll give you 3 minutes.
Yeah, I would like to ask the board, you don't know anything about it, all you new board members have no idea. We bought, when I was a board member, we bought 2 hand-operated phones. The president has one, and another fellow named Mickey, I can't remember his whole name. But the old timers know who Mickey is and his wife. They were very active here back then. I opposed it back then, and I voted against it because I said LA 32, the constituents and all the people that have anything to do weren't going to get any benefit from those 2 radios. We spent a lot of money buying them, and they're up to date. None of you new people know anything about it. You're hearing about it the first time. And they need to be recalled. They're city property. It wasn't a gift because to him or the other fellow that was here, they need to be checked in with the treasurer, which she is the president or chair for the registering all the equipment that we own because it's all city property. It was bought with city money. And the other thing, I also want to ask all of you, you new people that have gotten to know Anthony, because he is a nice guy, he's super smart, okay? But when he was standing here like I am, because he was a board member and past president, but there came a time he became a stakeholder like I am right now, he filed a ton of grievances against us. I was sitting there listening to him, all kinds of things. This board could not do anything right. You know the people that kind of stuck for him was Tom right there, that board member. I can say that because I'm a stakeholder. Okay, Tom and I also have, okay, and so that's why he voted against me. Okay, but I challenge you board members to do what you need to do. Go to the city hall, to your computers, your laptops, because I'm dumb when it comes to laptops, and find out what are the grievances that we have, that he has not mentioned anything that he filed. We need to have a grievance panel or committee, whatever you call that, to hear each and one of those grievances that he just tortured us, because we couldn't say anything to him about it. As you're finding out, we can't talk, okay? They have to just listen. So I want those things to be aired out because I want the new people that like him and should like him. You know, even though we're at odd ends, I like him. Believe me, I like him. As friends, I like him. I can always count on him watching my back. But outside of that, the professional business of here is totally different, okay? And so I ask of you and the president to find out what the proper verbiage is. Committee, whatever it's called to look into this and get a chair. I don't know if you have a different title for the chair for that particular body of you people. That probably he's going to have to ask for volunteers for that.
Thank you, Ruben.
And he cannot participate because it's a conflict of interest.
Thank you very much
You can
for your public
pick the
comment.
people.
Do we have anything further from the stakeholders? Anybody wish to give public input? 3 minutes. Public comment period is closed. That's item number 6. We now move to item 7, to approve the minutes. We are short, we're lacking a recording secretary, and it would be my apology that I did not establish the minutes. As the president, I should be responsible for something that's not being maintained. It'd be a deficiency, which it is on my behalf, not to, which I didn't take 2 roles this month. I would have to take the role of president and the role of recording secretary. It is on the agenda to fill the recording secretary, and I will assist that individual with the minutes of upcoming meetings of the month of March and April. So we don't have any minutes to approve. Item 7 is closed, or will be reheard again next month. Item number 8 is our treasurer's report. Our treasurer is Michelle Persante. She's sitting here to my right, and she'll give a report for budget and finances.
I think you all have a copy. I gave everybody a copy of the monthly report, and there's one for the stakeholder on the stand there. The monthly report for April 2017, operational expense was $560.50, and outreach expense $3,531.08. Total monthly spent for the month of April, $4,091.58. Thank you.
Nope. Is there more copies?
Do not. Do not.
More copies, so we gotta do it.
Talk to me in the foyer later.
Okay. Here you go.
I want this.
I think that-
No, there's 2 separate sheets.
Here you go, Marcia.
Thank you. I apologize for being late. I don't even know.
Oh, yes, and I did mark down on my notes, Marcia's is in here, 7:32. Is there any motions for item 8.1?
I'd like to move forward that LE 32 approve the monthly report for April 2017.
I'm gonna take it from here, I got Cynthia, Michelle, second.
Wait, number 8 includes all the subsection motions as well?
Only 8-1.
Just 8-1.
We're just approving the
The
monthly
8.1 is
expenditures
what
for
we're
the month of
approving.
April.
Okay.
Right, so there's, and she said, my notes were $4,091.58. It's indicated midway down on.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're just moving 8.1.
Right, it's just 8.1. So the motion by Michelle, second by Cynthia. Do we have any public comment cards with the stakeholder? No, we don't have any cards. Stakeholder, give this in the back table.
It's right there.
It's just on
Is there any public comment? Since we have a motion, the proper process is to ask the stakeholders if they wish to weigh in or give input on this motion before the board takes action. The monthly expense for the month of April is $4,091.58. Marlene?
Public comment?
Absolutely. Just when you set the thing, give you 3 minutes. Go ahead, ma'am.
So mine are just more questions, and I know they're probably easily answered, but I do have some questions on the monthly expenditure report and the attachments, and also on a couple of past ones that I'll go ahead and email you about. But on this one specifically, so for the kite festival, on the 468.91, there's only a partial receipt in there. There was like 89 items bought, and that receipt only has like 9 items. So if there's somewhere I could use that receipt, I'd like to. Also, I had a question on the $4 purchase made on the same day, made minutes before. I was just wondering if you could have an explanation as to why it was made separate and minutes apart.
Repeat that one more time. We're just receiving a document.
The other Albertsons receipt for, it's like $4. It's like crackers and some bags, but it was made the same day like minutes before. I just want clarification on that. And then on the PA system that was purchased, just missing paperwork on the the motion, but I'm assuming it was a motion made and it just wasn't attached. Also on the Southwest catering, for the last few months, the invoice number is always the same, so it's hard to track what it's going to or what month it's covering. It also, one of them has just a completely odd invoice number, like number 3, and there's no invoices attached on most of them. So I'll be requesting those via email, because I know those are probably harder to produce right now. But I guess right now, if I could just have an estimate if the Albertsons receipt is available, and then if I could have a brief explanation on the separate purchase.
I'm just making sure you still have, I don't want to interrupt your time. You still have a minute left.
No, that's it.
Okay. What we could do is to assist with you on some of your expenses and the receipts. The treasurer has provided them here. All receipts that you want to look through Albertsons will be right in here somewhere.
Is it the same attachment that was emailed out?
Yeah, that's the original, it's folded.
Yeah.
It was a long, so
So feel free to look at them. If your questions are still not answered, we could probably get to them before the evening's over.
Okay, and then when it's back to board discussion, we'll get the answer on the separate purchase?
During the treasurer report, no, we don't go back and forth. I just gave her documents and she reviewed them.
I have the answer that she's asking.
Well, no, but once you guys are back to, once you're in your board discussion, she can answer it.
Yeah.
Anthony, I have a question as well. There can be clarification on the,
Just, I can get you guys on time, just reset the time. Okay, reset, but we're going to public comment. Yes, Marcia?
thank you, Anthony. I just wanted to see if you could get clarification on the overdraft fee for $32 line item 3.
It was item number 3, overdraft. You have a question on it?
Why do we have an overdraft?
Okay, is it possible that you could clarify item 3 right there, Michelle, number 3
As
overdraft?
well as the items that were
I could
clarified.
clarify
Yeah.
more than one.
Let me see, do you have an item to vote on that?
I could clarify.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll get on that when we get to board members' discussion and debate, and then you can provide the announcement at that time. I mean, regarding to Marlene, right now, just to Marcia. Just this
We're
one.
not on board discussion?
Not yet, I'm gonna still see if there's more public
No,
comment.
it's still public comment.
Right, but I was just gonna assist with her real quickly and then go back to the public and
Isn't
then.
that board discussion if I answered it?
No, it's just point of clarification, she's asking on this document number 3. It was not discussion. Just relating to that, can you answer, Marcia?
I thought it was board discussion.
Not yet.
The Empower LA transfers quarterly $9,500, and it's on the bank statement as well. They don't transfer the entire lump sum amount. We do not have access to the $37,000. Every quarterly, every 3 months, they transfer the amount, and it's in our bank statements. So the last quarterly was not transferred, and there was checks that were sent out already for board reimbursements and payments that were occurring. So they didn't transfer it on time, so we got the overdraft charges, which is what you see on the thing, and that should be comparable. You could compare it to the bank statement, which is attached to the originals that Marlene has and attached to that copy right there.
These aren't originals, they're still the same copies.
Thank you, Michelle.
No, those are all originals. That should be all the big stack of the receipts, all of them.
It's a copy, but it's a copy.
The copy would be like the internet, when we purchased that IPA system.
Yeah, what you're saying is the original gets turned into downtown. That's an original copy, right?
The original receipts, it's not the whole receipt?
There's two, there's the original, then there's the paper clip, because there's like a big wrong one. But that's the $33.
Is there a reason that they provided in terms of why the money wasn't put in time? And is there anything that we can do to ensure that we're not wasting, our community money on overdraft fees? I mean, if this was an issue from the financing department, then, maybe perhaps discussing it.
Thank you, Marcia. It doesn't make sense that we incur overdraft fees, but I don't think it's Michelle's fault as treasurer. As mentioned, the city allocates a certain quarterly funding amount, and perhaps we had already prepared drafts, sent out drafts, and mailed out drafts for payment. Brett was understanding that the board made this approval for purchase, and we just didn't get the money into our account from the department, perhaps like a bank transfer or a bank wire transfer on time. So oddly enough, it does seem that we did lose $33, but I think this is the first time ever that I've seen it in 12 years that we've lost money in this manner.
Have we asked the bank if they would consider giving us a courtesy refund, usually for the first time we usually do?
You can consider asking that. I don't know if Michelle has that authority. Are you allowed to request for a refund, or does the department do that?
Department.
The department would have to do that, so I could follow up with that and ask for this $33, and to see if they're willing to. Right. So, now, I'm gonna ask now, is there any more public comment on the motion? We're still on our public comment period for item 8.1. The public comment period for approving the monthly expenditure report. Now we take board member discussion and debate. Directors? Yes, I'm gonna see if there's any questions first before you can answer all of them at once to make it easier. Any questions or debate here, discussion and debate? On my right side, Mr. Luna?
I just wanted to bring up that we did do the lost hiker drill with the fire department.
Correct.
It was 13, that was on April 30th. And it was $200 that was allotted and $200 that was spent.
And you're saying those expenses are not on here?
Yeah.
Okay, so how much, okay, so how much was the exact dollar amount? And I'm gonna write it in as an expense for the month of April.
I think it was like $201.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is ask you to mention that and include it as an amendment so that the board knows that there was an additional expense for the month of April, aside from what was here. So,
Mr. Luna, what was the amount?
right, what was the amount?
You want me to add it up right now?
Yeah.
While he's doing that, any other further discussion and debate from the board members regarding the monthly expenditure report? Yes, Tom?
In the agenda, it says March 2017, whereas this is reporting month April.
Correct. That
Makes
would,
it clear.
that would be a clarification or clerical error. Yeah, he's just indicating on your agendas, if everyone, I made a mistake putting this together, it should read, we are doing the monthly expenditure report for the month of April 2017, so just strike out the word March and include April because those are the expenses that we're reviewing at this time. So any other discussion? And Mr. Luna, just to add it to the monthly expenditure report, what's that dollar amount again?
$210.63.
Okay, 210.63. I have to check the records, but I believe the board approved 200.
Yeah, I mean, I'll donate. We'll donate to that.
Okay, so let me.
Donate, we're just.
Right, we'll absorb the cost, absorb the cost.
You lose it from
Yeah,
your
right.
committee.
Right, so, Karina, the expense that was taken on by the lost hiker was $200.
210.
Right, but the board only approved for 200.
So Anthony, can we approve this report if it's incorrect?
What we're doing, that's what I'm saying, it's not that it's incorrect, it didn't include his expense, but what I'm gonna do is ask him to make an amendment to include it, because he did actually have the event, it was prior to the closing of the month, which was April 30th, so it qualifies for this document.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm not totally comfortable approving a document that's not in its final
Right.
form. Is it
Before
required
you-
that we have to do today?
Before you give that input, let him make the motion to make the amendment, then you can enter discussion on the amendment. So Mr. Luna, I'd just like you to just say that you'd like to amend the monthly expenditure report and add $200, which you obviously appeared.
I'd like to amend the monthly report and include the $200.
And is there a second?
Second.
From Hugo. Thank you very much. What that is now the board has heard that there's an amendment to the monthly expenditure report of an additional $200. The board did approve this expense. The board member did fund it himself and has the receipts provided. Thank you very much. It indicates $210.63, but the budget was only $200. So on the monthly expenditures report, I'm gonna add the $4,091.58 plus 200, which makes $4,291.58. That'll be the new monthly expenditures for the month of April. Do we have any public comment on the amendment only, which is what the director is submitting? Only on the $200. Any public comment? Do we have any director's discussion and debate on the $200? Only on the $200. Any discussion and debate?
I just want to know when we'll get the final, the updated one, if we'll make sure to get an updated copy of this next meeting.
You can update it now. $4,291.
There's a lot of other numbers, I just want to see the final version is what I'm.
That's fine. Anything?
Can I explain so
Yeah.
we can stop wasting time?
Right, anything else from the board members?
Okay,
Michelle?
let me go first the next time so I can justify. You can't do that. You can't amend.
Yes, you can.
No, excuse me, I have a floor.
You cannot be rude to our chair.
Excuse me, I have a floor. You cannot amend a funding item because the funding paper that we all have matches with the bank statement. How am I gonna tell funding department Here's my monthly report. I paid $200 to him. He's gonna have to wait till next month because he did not give me his receipts right at the meeting, at his event. And his event isn't approved yet. So I'm still waiting for an authorization code to pay, to reimburse the board member. This is why you do not see the reflection on the monthly report of April, and you will not see it. And if you amend and do that, funding department is gonna knock it back to us and say, no, your bank statement doesn't say that you paid Jose Luna board reimbursement. You cannot amend. You need to take back your amend and your second, because that's not gonna happen. It has to wait till next month.
Yeah, what is happening is we're not giving him his funding, he's just showing that we incurred an expense.
And he's gonna get paid when I get
Correct,
authorized to pay.
correct, right, we're not approving, we're not spending, we're not giving him the money yet. He's
Well, you
just
can't
saying
put it on this monthly report.
it come out as an expense of the month.
Not on this month. It has to wait till September.
Let me hear what Hugo has to say.
Okay, but without fighting as to the procedure, because we didn't know, all we're saying is, get it included on this report, or maybe we get included on
On
the,
the-
all we want to make sure is that.
That's what I'm trying to do
Do
too.
this properly, so if somebody teaches how to do it properly, we'll do it.
We're not doing it wrong, we're just, maybe have to wait. So it's not that we're doing it wrong, we accepted your receipts.
Okay.
They're gonna go to the treasurer because she ultimately has to give the board member reimbursement, so this is for you.
And that'll go on May, right?
They should give me the authorization code. Funding department told me they'll give it to me at the end of the week, which is, what, tomorrow? And if they don't, trust me, I'm always calling them, doing this for you guys and the community. As soon as they give me that code, I can pay you. And they said they will approve it, it's just not their priority. Why? Because there's so many other events that turned it in months ago.
But a point of clarification, is that going to go on the April report or on the May report?
May.
May report, okay, thank you.
Because I haven't even submitted the check to him yet.
No, okay, it's understood.
Anthony,
That's fine.
I have a question. So does that mean for all of these expenses that are listed from 1 to, the numbers stop going, so I guess
12.
10, 11, 12. All of these have been paid out already. They weren't just money that was spent, they were money that's been reimbursed. Is that correct?
Expense, money spent.
Okay, so then why, if his expense, which occurred in April 30th, should then be on this report if these haven't been paid out either?
Because I paid it out of pocket.
Right, no, I understand that, but what they're saying is these have not been paid out.
They have.
No, someone just said they hadn't. All of these people have been paid?
Yes.
They've received their reimbursements is what I asked.
They're not reimbursements, they're purchases.
No,
That's
some
what I'm
of
saying.
them
The
are
person got the
reimbursed.
paid already is what I'm saying.
So the money has been used and
Jackie and Cordantes, there's two reimbursements
Why
there.
isn't Jackie
I
there?
think what she's trying to say why Jose Luna hasn't got paid.
It was because
He didn't put it in, he didn't submit it in.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm just asking, so all of these people, all of these monies have already been reimbursed, paid out to whoever spent the money.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking. Because I mean, that's pretty soon for some of these. These were like 27, but they got paid out already.
Okay, so
So
is
the
there any
department
other,
moves that quickly.
any other discussion and debate for item 8?
8-1.
8.1, correct. Nothing further from the board? Since this is a funding item, we're going to take the monthly
I
expenditure
want
report.
to justify what I had to for that stakeholder.
My questions didn't get answered.
For the $4, the crackers that she was asking. Why the $4? I want
Did
to
you say your
justify.
question was answered or not answered?
No,
Not.
questions weren't answered. I want to answer them.
Okay, yeah, feel free.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the sound system, the PA system, sound system was voted and approved on April 17, and I was not at that meeting. The president was, and I haven't, he gave me the tally, but he didn't give me the funding request form. He just gave me the tally. So with the tally, we were able to, out of Parks and Recs Committee, pay for that PA sound system, which is sitting in my van, and I need to bring it in here now. The $4 and some change at Albertsons. The system is changing, the $4.08. The chip system, card reader chip system is a new thing that's occurring, and it's moving rapidly, that a lot of our stores here in El Sereno do not use the chip/credit card. It uses only chip, which only forces me to go chip, PIN number. I had my colleague Jackie one time confirm. I'm going to show you that Food for Less doesn't do it. I went through the process, I put in the chip, I went credit card, it declined it, it narrowed me back to the chip. So we were doing Smart and Final because Smart and Final gives you big quantities to buy these things, or a board member could do the Costco and do the board reimbursement. For that particular transaction for Albertsons, since Smart and Final no longer does the chip with the credit card, and it was quite embarrassing because I was ready to buy all the snacks for the Kite Fest, and it didn't do it. I called funding, I spoke to Layla, I spoke to Martha, I spoke to Artsy, I spoke to Tom, and they all apologized and said, we cannot give you the PIN number, we apologize. No treasurer has the PIN number, sorry. Either you paid out of your pocket and let the second signature signer reimburse you. So I had to put all the things back, and the next day I went to Albertsons. So to avoid the big trip of buying all the snacks and waiting and testing if their system works with just credit card, I bought one thing, which was the Ritz crackers, which was part of the snacks at the day of the Kite Fest. And I purchased that one to see if it goes credit card only, not PIN number, and it did. So that's what you see, 2 receipts, $4.08 of that, and then the other one, the Albertsons, which is probably sitting in my scanner because it's like this long of snacks, and you see the copy because I have to fold it, and that one was $468. So there is a big, huge, long receipt. Like I said, it's probably sitting in my scanner when I was scanning all these things, and we'll be more than glad to do that for you, to show you all of that.
You'll have a next meeting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michelle. She did a fine job actually explaining that, and I want to commend her for the hard work she's doing. As stakeholders, some of you have been here for the first time. As board members, I want you to realize too, I've been officer of 4 of the 5 officer seats, and I want to mention to the public, the treasurer has the hardest job. Even though she does financing and bookkeeping, and there's a lot of tasks involved, there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of accounting, and a lot of checks and balances. So Michelle, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So now, is there any further discussion and debate for the monthly expenditure report? Taking some time, but everything's pretty much clear.
Don't we have to properly amend it to April?
That's just a clerical error. You could just strike that and put April right above. But she did present it as the April monthly expenditure report, and it's written right there on the document.
I understand, I just want to make sure there was no.
And Aaron, I just want you to mention, since this is a funding item, you have to, it's called ineligible. Meaning there's some training that you need to take only when we're spending public tax dollars. And we'll provide you with training, so when the vote comes up, we just indicate you as ineligible. Do you have one of those?
How do you spell your last name, Eric? O-M, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Aaron, ineligible. Jackie Carrillo?
Yes.
Kathy Leal?
Yes.
Perla Flores?
Yes.
Miguel Vargas, absent. Michelle Corsantes, yes. Karina Cruz?
Yes.
Jose Luna?
Yes.
Tom Williams?
Yes.
Sani Abdul Jabbar?
Yes.
Marcia Guzman?
Yes.
Cynthia Sandoval?
Yes.
Hugo Pacheco?
Yes.
Anthony Manzano?
I abstain.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes. 0, no. 1 abstain. 1 absent, and 1 ineligible. Motion passes.
What was the final tally again, the numbers?
11-0-1.
11-0-1. Thank you very much. We now move to item 8.2, which is also the treasury report. Yeah, anyone wish to open this item or make a motion?
I would like to move forward that LA 32 approve the reallocation of the budget of 2016.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Jackie, thank you so much. That now opens it up for public comment. So do we have any public comment on the reallocation? This is going to be, I believe it's the second sheet you guys have. Right. This one will say draft across the top. That's the document we're looking at. Any public comment on item 8.2?
Point of order.
Yes, Hugo?
Is 8, we're talking 8.2?
Yes, 8.2.
The motion must be read in its complete, otherwise all we're saying is sit what you're doing.
You want me to read it?
Yes, sir.
I'll read it.
That way they don't know what's going on.
I'd like to move forward item number 8, I or 8, A2, that LE 32, discussion of possible action that LE 32 exceed neighborhood council reallocate $2,534.44 from the 2016-2017 budget into outreach committee.
Thank you, and the second was made by Jackie, so it has been read. Do we have public comment on this? Public comment on the reallocation? Okay, board members discussion.
So is it all these numbers, is it all these numbers on the side where this money is being reallocated from? All these numbers listed in that column that don't add up to $2,534?
It should add up to 2401 and 14 cents.
So all of this money is being taken out from the different committees,
Proposed.
proposed to be taken out from the
Yes,
different
proposed to be
committees?
taken out.
Okay,
Which
so,
is, looks like membership and outreach, sports and rec, beautification, public safety, and education, business and economic, $1.82. Meeting hospitality, $2.36, and website maintenance. And if you add it all up, that should equal 2401.
okay, so I'm gonna pass forward directly to Sonny because we need to make two.
Is there, yeah, so. Sonny?
Yes, so I would like to request an amendment to this item to leave business and econ budget unchanged and to move $172 from the beautification committee to business and econ committee before we make any other moves. There's a request for $825 for an upcoming event that's going through the process of getting approved, and that's why I'm requesting this change.
Okay, so I'm gonna start, the beautification committee has $562.18.
Correct.
And you're requesting to do what with your amendment?
So
To get from there?
from there, $174. $174,
Okay.
and move that to business and economics.
Okay, let me see, I'm gonna write it down. 174.
That will bring business and economics available budget to $825, and that should be left alone, that shouldn't be moved.
So it's also to move the 182, so we strike the proposal to move 182 from business and econ.
$1.82?
We strike that from
Okay,
business.
one moment though, this is Sonny's amendment, so.
Yeah, sorry, I was just helping.
So
Okay.
strike $1.82
And add an additional 174,
correct,
and you proposing to remove it from the 562.18.
correct.
Okay, I got it. And strike it. Okay, there is a motion from Sonny. I hope those board members understand that he does not want the $1.82 to be removed from his committee. And as part of the amendment, which we are moving 1 year now, he is asking that from the 562, can you give me that balance, what that'll leave in the 562 if you take away your 174? He's proposing that from the $562 for beautification, that 174 be amended and placed into as a supplement to the Business and Economic Committee, which will give a total of $825, correct?
Yes.
But it'll leave a remaining balance to be transferred from beautification of
$388.
$388. Is there a second for Sonny's amendment?
I second.
Marcia, okay, let me write down, okay, Sonny has an amendment, and then Marcia second. Okay, now, what happening, stakeholders, is one director wishes to amend some of the allocations on here. Is there any public comment only on the amendment? He's trying to retain his $1.82 and request for an additional $174. Money's moving, and he's just trying to defer where he wants it to be moved to. Any public comment? Board members' discussion now. On the amendment only, Mr. Pacheco.
I need a clarification from the chair, because, and this is the reason we need to have the minutes. Because I believe in this previous meetings, the board has already stated that this money should remain with the committees. It takes a reconsideration motion to even bring this issue back up to the board. Nothing can be transferred until the board decides for a reconsideration. I have not heard a reconsideration motion yet. So this whole thing is null. You need a it does not matter whether it was put in it does not matter if it was put in by any committee. This was already 2 months ago. It was for all of us, and then reiterated again last month. It was a motion to leave the monies alone. Can't touch it, can't do anything. And I'll be the first to read, get off the reading panel and read this situation. Cannot move this money.
Okay, with the meaning, did the board take a position? We probably took a position last month, just as we are this month on the allocations, but did we vote and say, no money can be moved? I'm trying to check my agenda.
No, 2 months ago,
Yeah?
when I first brought the issue up,
March?
I asked the board to make sure that our money was not moved from our committee. And the board voted that we could keep our money.
Correct.
That means that the motion from the board cannot touch our money. Which then states also that the committee will also discuss that same motion.
But it wasn't for the Honduras one. It was just for your committee, and your committee money wasn't moved.
Again, unless we have minutes, which is what I keep asking for, this thing goes around and around in a circle. We need to have those minutes. I'm telling you, 2 months ago, it was passed by the board not to touch committee money.
Was it on the agenda? Because I have the agendas here and I just looked.
Yes,
And during
because it
the
was
month
missed.
of March, we did reallocate. I just checked.
This has been starting since, no, we did not really allocate. We stated that certain committees get to keep their money. We stated that. We have to go back to the record. That's why it's so important. to have the minutes.
This is the month of March, March 1st. Motion that Alley 30 neighborhood council reallocate $2,175.89 from the 2016-27 budget into MPG category. Pass 911.
MPG category.
Well, that month, it was being proposed to move this much money into MPG category.
And it passed?
911.
911.
And then the next?
The next is old business. Oh, the next month.
No, there was 2 motions of money that time, if I remember.
Right, but this is the month of March. I'm looking at March 1st.
Because we talked about this whole issue about moving money. I remember specifically our committee. And at this point, I'm also trying to defend other committees. That's what I'm trying to do. I know for my committee, I will fight to the very last to make sure we get our $700.
If I can make a comment, I may be out of order, but I remember the conversation, and you and I were on the same side of that issue, right? At that point, I believe that, for instance, the beautification committee, we were going to use that money, and later that didn't happen for whatever reasons. Now that money is sitting there. So, but in the business and econ, the money is needed. So what would I do with the money sitting in the beautification committee that I know that committee is not going to use that money? So what's the alternative solution you would propose in order to, make that reallocation?
Okay. If memory serves me well, somebody on the winning side has to make a motion to reconsider. Okay, what we did 2 months ago.
Well, I just checked the April meeting, and that's true. In the April meeting, it did not pass. The vote was 3-5-3 to reallocate funding, and the board said no. That's tomorrow. I'll show it to you.
We never worded
Right.
that.
It's the month of April. It says, motion that Alley 30 Neighborhood Council reallocate $1,914 from 2016-27 budget into MPG category and Arts and Culture Committee. It did not pass, 3-5-3. But that doesn't mean,
He's asking
Right.
for the,
that
for the
doesn't,
specific wording that the
board voted.
motion should say, and do not
Correct.
touch or remove
Correct.
public safety
We
money,
didn't
which
do
I
that.
don't recall that.
Correct.
You can look at the footage.
right, so there was no indication saying that the Budget and Finance Committee cannot, like Michelle mentioned, take money from a committee and reallocate it. It just showed at last month's meeting in April, the board decided not to approve the recommendation. It didn't say that they could not, it just did not pass.
You have to
And
stop
again,
at every
that-
vote.
So this month, it's a new recommendation, the new committee met, and it's a new proposal.
Can I give some pertinent dates, maybe I should have started with that on this reallocation, why we're reallocating?
If it helps answer his question,
It might-
do you
it
still
might-
have questions?
I have more questions too. I mean, this is just the beginning of it.
Okay.
Let me give them dates,
Sure.
and maybe that's how everybody will know why. So, budget and finance is reallocating. You don't have to agree, you can amend like what we're doing right now, and this is where we do it. So don't feel,
You're recommending, not reallocating.
we're recommending the reallocation. So the reason why we're recommending this reallocation is because Empower LA has specific dates that we have to spend this money. If it doesn't get spent, it goes back to Empower LA, it goes back to the city. We have like the bank statement reads, I think 5,000 and some on there. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly off the top of my head. June 1st is the last day to submit a funding request. which means whatever we vote on today has to be submitted no later than June 1st, unless we go into a special meeting because beautification said, don't move my money, I'm gonna do something to vote on it on the special meeting so we can spend it before June 1st. June 7th is the last day to issue a check. So June 7th is the last day for me to reimburse some of you on some of these events that you guys feel more comfortable spending the money on versus, the treasurer goes and swipes the card, which is fine. June 11th is the last day for the treasurer to use the credit card. That's the last day. I am right now standing by and waiting to see how we're going to handle the event or the round table for June 23rd. They told me that I have to email another department to see how they're gonna allow us to go past June 11th. Because June 11th is all 96 neighborhood councils are not gonna be able to use the card as of June 11th. I have to either do a special request, which I'm already doing, asking them, they need this for June 23rd. How do we spend $200 for their roundtable? Because I'm not gonna pay for Subway on June 11th and then wait till the 23rd to go pick up the sandwiches. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I'm waiting for them to give me an answer. But that's why we reallocate and we're moving around the money from these committees because we're trying to meet deadlines. I mean, if you guys could find other ways to do special meetings for your committees, that's fine too.
Can I ask a question? So would it be okay if I spend the money out of my own pocket and then get reimbursed whenever?
For
Would that
our
solve the
events?
problem for this event?
For the 23rd.
For the 23rd? Yeah.
Would that solve the problem?
Yeah, but you have to give it to me before June 7th, because that's the last day I will be allowed to issue a check.
You mean the receipts? Give you the receipts before that, yes?
That's the last day I'll be able to issue a check. I'm waiting for them to tell me if they allow us or extend it for us.
June 7th. Oh, so we have to place orders for everything before June 7th.
We're only speaking on the amendment, just try to make your conversation particular to the amendment only.
So I just want to say, I also talked to Thomas, he was gonna possibly also look to see, because he doesn't think it's a month that we don't have funding, and I said, well, we've been told several times that's what it is. He said it might be a shorter amount of time, so I just wanted to pass that information along. Could it be possible, Michelle, if you could ask them when you speak with them, if we can, maybe coordinate with one of the local restaurants to say, hey, look, we're gonna pay this up front for the food on
Tom
this day?
actually suggested that, so.
Okay, so
so
yeah,
if
if you can
there's
maybe run that
some-
by them and we can try to work
If
on that.
there's one restaurant that's willing to us pay them on before June 11th, and then you guys, remember, hey, you owe me sandwiches or
Yeah, we're
gordita,
right.
I don't know, whatever. And it doesn't need, we don't need to be on the liability certificate.
As long as we give you the receipts by June 7th, we are good. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, we can.
Again, try to keep your discussion relevant to
have
the
the floor.
amendment.
12 a.m.
Anthony, I had the floor. Anthony was still speaking. No, I wasn't.
Excuse me.
I was just gonna say
Isn't it
something.
relevant to the amendment?
It is relevant to the amendment because the amendment is related to the roundtable. The roundtable is what we're discussing right now, so it is relevant to the
Yeah,
amendment.
so 174
So,
to business and economic and.
Just
not
because the
remove-
timeline's coming quickly, if you could ask them if we could do that, I'm sure we could find a restaurant maybe that, we could, just pay them in advance and then.
I was telling Marty that I have a name of a restaurant.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I don't think we're picky, and then we can buy the food and drinks beforehand, so. Anyway, so we're good on our end.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Pacheco?
Just some numbers here. Looking at the budget itself for the year 2016, 2017, first point of clarification is at the bottom total, grand total is $2,401.14. The motion talks about a reallocation of $2,534.44. Somebody explain the
Miscalculation?
Yes,
No, we're
that I
not-
mentioned earlier, Anthony.
Right, I'm trying to, we have to speak specifically to the amendment, whether the $174 should be
Into
moved
business
into
economic.
business and
And not
economic
remove the
and removed it from
651.80.
beautification.
And not remove the 651 and 82 cents from business and economic. That's
The
the.
$1.82. Right, it's only $1.82.
$1.82.
So just try to address the amendment only at this time.
But I actually had that question prior, which is why the numbers are not making sense. Was it the 651 from business and econ that was originally supposed to? It was 651, I think that's why these numbers are off then. So it should be 651, and then that would probably add to 25334.44. Is that? So there might be a clerical error here, Anthony, so we would have to amend our motion again.
Let me hear a few of the proposals first, and I want to hear your point you're trying to make.
My point is, I'm going from the big picture to the smaller picture. If I can't get the big picture put together, then how do you do the little pictures? You're asking me to put the little pictures first and then make the big picture.
Okay, but right now we're discussing the amendment.
Yes, and
Okay.
in order to make the amendment make sense,
Yeah.
from the very go, why is the discrepancy in the numbers at the bottom of the grand totals? Is that gonna, if we vote for him, how does that switch this grand total up here and it still doesn't match the motion?
Let me add it up, see if I can
It
figure
doesn't
it
match
out.
up, so.
Michelle, do you and I have an amendment? Change the amount from 2401.14. We amended it to 2534.44.
Whatever the agenda says.
Yeah, so I guess the question is, where is the 100 and?
Because when we were adding it all up, we realized that it wasn't the 2401.14, it was actually 2534.34.
So,
And so we voted on 2534.44 tonight and
So the Microsoft Excel is adding 1,135 plus 3650 plus 264.62 plus 117 at 43 plus 562 and 18 plus 250 plus 4.23 plus 2 and 36 cents plus 60, and the formula right now, and I refreshed it, and it's totaling 2,432 and 2,432 and 32 cents.
Did you put changes in there?
No,
I added everything from the 2401.14.
That doesn't match the motion.
Yeah, that's what I got, 2401.
So what I did is I added all these numbers and it came out like you said, at the bottom, 2401.14. I just did it.
Yes, but the motion, Anthony, says 2,534.44, which is the first thing I had initially
I
said.
got what you're
It's
saying.
an
Okay.
so then we have to amend it
Okay,
to
so
correct
why,
it.
they're asking why is there difference between this number and this number?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
now I get your point.
That's what I
I
asked
just
her.
want an answer, that's all. It doesn't add, the numbers don't add up.
So then the max, the way I understand it is no matter what the agenda, no matter, but the only amount that can be moved is what's on the budget. It cannot be 2534, it can only be 2401.
What's calculated right here,
Right, only this dollar amount, because this is what the money, this is the actual numbers.
which is,
This could be changed.
Okay, so now let's, just for the sake of argument.
Well, now, what I'm gonna do is I need two amendments.
What's the correct number?
2401.14, it's at the bottom of the paper right there.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so now we have to go back to the motion that Sonny made and second by Marcia, that I want you to specifically speak on the motion, or the amendment, my mistake. From where it says 562.18, right there, which falls under beautification.
Wait, why don't we go line by line, because when you look at membership and outreach committee,
Right, we're not doing that one, I just want us to go down to 562.18. From that number, the amendment is to remove $174 from the 562.18. And add those 174 into business and economic.
And to keep our 182.
And to keep that $1.82. So on my paper, what I did is I crossed out the 182, which is part of the amendment, and add 174 to the 651, which actually is 652 or 653, something like that, to give one total of 825. When you remove that 174
Okay, now,
from
go,
562,
hold on.
it leaves you
Stop
388.
right there. Let me make sure I got this right. So 182 gets scratched completely out of that column.
That's what they're asking as the
it's all
amendment.
82.
That's the amendment.
Okay,
It's not confirmed yet. Strike it,
That's
yes.
what they're asking for. Now we're adding how much to the 651.82?
174. Sonny's amendment, 174.
And so that
So
brings
there
it up
should-
to what?
No,
825 and 82 cents is what they're gonna have.
83 cents. Okay, but now you moved some money from another category, right?
right. Those 174 are coming from the 562.18.
Okay, so that's added to the,
No, it's getting minus 562 minus 174, which
Which will
puts
be
them at 388.
388 and 18
And
cents.
Sonny chairs that committee.
88 and 18 cents?
That's the amendment.
Okay,
There you go.
no, the 388.18
Correct.
Mine, yeah,
is gonna be where 562.18 is at.
yeah.
Correct.
Not on this column, but on
They keep them,
the left
yeah,
column.
yeah, we're not voting
That
to take
zeroes
it.
out, that zeroes out.
Yeah,
Okay, that zeroes out, and then this side becomes, what's the grand total of that? 388.18?
388.18.
All right, I just wanna keep
So
on
that's the
track.
amendment. Is everyone understand the amendment? Any more discussion?
So then
on
the bottom line changes, right?
yeah, and it's,
Yeah,
that's probably
the
changing.
number will be.
Right now, when somebody amends it.
If that bottom line, what will be the bottom line if that changes?
We don't know.
We don't know
The board has to approve it. The board has to approve it.
No, you're right, but we didn't get there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right, you're absolutely
But
right.
it's pertinent to the motion.
Right, but we have to vote on it first before it gets
I
solidified.
think
And I'm
he's saying
asking
is
what that
let's
question
If
finish.
it doesn't
I think
pass,
he's
then
saying
no
is let's-
money gets moved.
No,
I think he's saying is let's finish doing our amendment so that we
The-
can correct the final
The
number.
discussion on the
No,
amendment.
he's asking what is the final
388.
numbers now, and we can't say because we haven't.
Well, we haven't, unless there's other amendments, we could probably say, is there any other
Just
amendments?
Do your amendment.
Right, so do you understand, is there any discussion left on the amendment only?
My only thing is that, for a fact, the bottom, if this thing passes, then the bottom number will decrease.
Yes. it's
Yes.
gonna change.
And if I go here to beautification where it says 700, I take out 174 and I put them at 526, that equals 388 and 18 cents.
So the number,
You see where it says
Change to-
beautification 700? I have to change that.
On the left-hand side, it'll be
Yeah.
388.18.
Correct. Correct.
You know where it says beautification 700? I have to change that minus 174, so it can even out to 388 and 18.
Right.
In the front. So is there anything else on the amendment?
Not on that,
Okay, this is just an amendment, we are moving money around, but we're not spending money. So it's not a roll call vote, it's just a yes or no on the amendment.
Oh, no.
Can I explain, I just wanted to explain to the board why this happened. So we had originally thought we would be able to take money from next fiscal year's business and econ. That's why we needed additional funding, and luckily there was a committee that had some, but it was not because we were trying to spend outside of our budget. So I just wanted to give clarification to the board for that. Thank you.
Anything further on the amendment?
Just point of clarification, you're saying that because we're not spending any funds,
Right, we're just
just
reallocating.
reallocating does not need a,
Roll call, person per person per person per person per person.
An amend.
It's just an amendment. And then after, when we're gonna actually approve the
The
whole
whole
budget,
budget, then it's binding.
then it's yes, then we're actually changing it. So I just wanna see how everybody votes
that's my question from the very
on the
beginning.
amendment, All in favor of the amendment as proposed, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Get here, that's 11. Those opposing the amendment, raise your hand. And those abstaining, raise your hand.
Be careful.
There's one, no, it equals 1, and then
One
1,
sign.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right. It's 11, 0, 1, 1. One abstention, one ineligible. So Aaron, you're still counting, but the way the tabulation is 11 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstained, 1 ineligible. And that gives us the 13 people that are seated at the table. So the amendment is now going to be read into the motion, and we need to figure this out because the motion will need to be amended also. Is it the wrong number right here? Can I give you the number?
We're not done, are you done?
Michelle,
No, now we're going to the main motion.
No.
Michelle, see that on the Excel.
2011 and 14 cents.
So now business and economic has,
Business and economic.
yeah,
will-
so now we're gonna move that number,
825.
825 and 82 cents, and it'll balance out for them to have now a balance of 777 and 64 cents.
That's the current balance.
Yes.
Now, can I go to my next question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go.
I'm sorry, what was it?
No, this is a question. This is a question.
Okay, question, let me see.
So we just turned in $200 worth of expenditures. Does that not get indicated somewhere on this budget? That expenditure?
It will be under public safety. Let me see, public safety is here. Yeah, there still should be.
No, because this was done, our meeting was already in April and your receipts were not turned in yet.
That's
No,
why you
but
So
still
it
show a
won't
balance.
reflect until May, next month.
But
No,
is it
no,
March?
no, no.
This is the running
This
budget.
is-
It's
this
not
is
what
running
it's
budget.
spent. This is the full yearly budget.
But we didn't spend any money out of the budget. You guys are still waiting for reimbursement.
I think what the question is out of the 700 that says balance, is 200 still part of this procedure?
Yeah, but
700
none
should
of-
be
none
500
of them-
right now is what it should be, because 200 was approved for expenditure and it was expended. So right now, that has to be reflected. We just turned in the receipts. That has to be put in here right now.
No, because that money didn't come from the neighborhood
haven't paid it
council's
up.
money, it came from somebody's pocket.
It's still, but it's still 700, right, Michelle?
No,
I mean,
it's not 700. It's not, no, it's 500.
It's not 500 yet until the,
It pays
until
out.
she pays
Until
out,
it
then that
pays
number's
out.
gonna go down. But it's still $700, meaning that's what the money the Public Safety Committee has eligible or balance, $700. If they say, hey, well, we spent 200, then you know you've spent $200. That should look like a 500, and it will look like a 500 as soon as the treasurer makes that expense.
No, here, all right. Let's go back a little bit, wait here.
Can I say something on that? I don't want to interrupt, but I do want to say something that's important. I appreciate all of this time. I know it's valuable, and every item here is important. We do have stakeholders here who are been here for a long time, and there's an item that they want to move to that. I want to ask you guys to move up, especially as soon as this is over with. I know this is not done yet. But can I ask for one of you guys to move up on item 19, the $30? I don't know if it's here that's waiting for an item, but you know, it's something that's important for us to serve the committee members who have been waiting here. I know this is not over yet, this item here, but can I ask for somebody to move up the items that are related to people who are here so that we don't leave this night without doing anything productive for these stakeholders?
What we can do, and I really appreciate that, I know it seems a little belaboring to go through these meetings, but we are conducting business, and you've been here many times. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish this item, but the way I'm gonna run the meeting is, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items on old business. We're gonna hear the old business first before we move to new business. It only seems fair, because if we come to new business, there's items that are going back months and months and months and say, hey, we wanna hear that. And those stakeholders, those people, or those items are being deferred for a later time because someone wants to go to item 15, 16, 19, 22. And it doesn't make sense logically to hear new business because it's important and neglect old business. So for me, as a president, we will only do new business, and if they want to take an item out of order, they will. But they will not take an item out of order to cut in front of the line before old business. So yes, we could move it up, but not before old business. It just seems fair for the old business. So, Mr. Pacheco, did you have an understanding about your $200?
We're not ordered not to.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think you're not enough.
But if we want to, we could.
Yes, the board members could, but it's up to the board.
No, as soon as we're done with this one, you can move it up,
Yeah.
and somebody can
I
second,
have,
and there
right,
we
I have
go.
to hear it, but I don't like to do it that way, it's not fair.
But if we want to, we
It's up
could.
to the board. So are you okay with that? No. Oh, so what's your question still
Do
regarding the
you
$200?
wanna ask Lorenzo, maybe the clarification's not coming from us correctly?
I don't think Don can answer your question.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's the city clerk.
It's your money, your $200, what you're asking, that you're saying you wanna know why it's not reflected?
I need some clarification as a committee chair, because a budget is a budget. You put a budget together and say, this is the money I'm going to spend.
Yes, you have $700.
We have $200 that's already been allocated for expenditure, and it got spent. It's got to be reimbursed.
Yes.
There's another $250 that we recommended on a joint committee, right, for coffee. And that's their work that was not considered for this meeting, that should have been at this meeting.
Okay.
So that reduces 250,
correct.
450 minus what, 700?
Yes.
So basically, that number's not 700, that's zero now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, it's going to be zero, there's nothing there.
Well, what it is as the chair, you're supposed to also have a calculation of your budget. So you know you have $700. Don't go over budget.
I didn't go over budget. I'm not
Exactly.
going over budget.
So the numbers reflective aren't in here yet because in Michelle's sense, you still have $700. But you say, hey, we just turned in 200.
I know what my credit card, when I go and say, okay, this is what I'm going to spend on my bills, I know what my bills are.
Correct.
Right? And I know I'm going to have to pay this bill in this month and this bill in this month. That means it's going to get paid.
Yes.
You reduce that from my income, and that gives me what I'm going to be able to spend in the future. That's what should be is 250 right here.
Right.
That's it.
Right. What you're not seeing is a pending. That's probably what you're looking for. It's a pending, meaning.
And that's what you put in the
correct.
budget.
Because there's been times, and I don't want to
This is
We are
not
too
an
much.
expenditure report, Anthony, this is a budget, and you're
Correct.
supposed to put those pending expenditures on a budget.
They're not, that's right, but they're not on there.
So this is not a budget.
It's a budget because it shows there's $500 available, like 700, my mistake. Now, you don't have the whole 700.
No, we don't, but I'm telling you, this is not a
Correct.
budget. This is not a budget.
This is what we have to work with. You can either understand it, ask questions, which you are, or not. Right, so from this 700, right, from this 700, there's 200 that are in receipts, 250 that are being reallocated to somewhere else, which is gonna leave 250 left.
Yeah, so you'll have to, that's what it says, 250. And she's taking your 250.
That's not what it's saying, it's saying I have $700.
Because you haven't spent nothing yet.
$250.
Because nothing has been spent yet.
She has
That's not a
$700
budget.
and she's gonna move 250, so if you don't want the 250 moved, then you need to make an amendment, just the way we made an amendment.
I have to make an amendment, and
If
that's
you
why
wanna keep
I'm
your
saying I don't
250.
have to.
If you want to keep
Yes,
your
because the
250,
Budget
make
and
an
Finance
amendment.
Committee already met and they
You're
made
already
this
convinced,
proposal.
and I'm telling you that we had it 2 months ago, but that's okay, I'll make an amendment,
Correct.
but I still, I'm telling you, I don't have to do that. And it's almost like saying I'm going against my own
No,
interpretation
because
of what
I have a
happened.
recommendation from this Budget and Finance Committee, and if you don't agree with it, you make an amendment. Meaning there's $250 going to be removed from this Public Safety Committee. No? Okay. So you'd like to make an amendment?
No, I'll just do a grievance, you know, just stop the whole thing. Anthony, is that what you want me to do?
But you
There is
can't
no
grieve against the board, you're on the board.
Right, yes, you can, there's no grievance.
No, you can't.
There's no
I
grievance.
know the grievance,
In our bylaws, we cannot grieve against ourselves as the board.
There's no grievances against an action that you might not be favorable with. You can only file a grievance if we do something illegal.
That's right.
We're not doing anything
If you
illegal.
pass something as a board, not to move money, and then you move money, that's not right.
Where did you
Yes,
find
we
that?
never voted not to move money. I checked the agenda. What it was is we voted no on the proposal, on the recommendation.
Do what you want to do.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're
No,
clear.
yeah, because I just follow up. Because rather than hold up everybody here, I'll just do the grievance and stop the whole
What we're gonna do
proceeding.
now, we need to read this new number, because this is gonna change.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change that. What's the number gonna be now?
That we allocate-
You want to add it, is that what you're saying? Do you want to add it?
Add up the-
You want to add it, and I'll do the formula here, see if it adds it? I can highlight it and then go down, and then it'll give me the formula. Let me add it. It's calculating, 1,837 and 14 cents.
I don't know.
If it's not, let me know and I'll go back and adjust. No, I got 1,837. So repeat the numbers again, on the top, 1,135, correct? $3.50, 264 and 62, 117 and 43.
388.18, 250.
Oh, that's what it is, hold on.
Yeah, you gotta take out the 174 and the 388.
Yeah, I got it. What was that number again? 2,225?
Yeah,
And,
25 cents.
yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Got it, 2,225 and 32.
okay, 2,025,
So now the new motion should read that.
32 cents.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the amendment that was approved by the board, the new motion, as the motion will read, discussion and possible action that LA 32 Neighborhood Council reallocate $2,225.32 from the 2016-2017 budget into the outreach committee. That's the motion. That's the full main motion. Is there public comment? Any public comment on that? Board members' discussion on the main motion. Any discussion on my right? Any discussion to my left?
Sorry, what was the final amount? I had to know.
$2,225.32. That number would go in the place of the $25.34.44 at the bottom of the agenda, left-hand side. Strike $2,534 and put $2,225.32. That's the new.
From the 2401, I thought the 2401 was the number we were working with. I thought that was the original number we
It
were
is,
working with.
it
Okay,
is.
so then if we
Because-
subtract,
No, this 25, 35, 34, 44, wrong number on the agenda.
right, so we're scratching that.
Right. Now put in $2,225.32. And how do we get that number? If we add it,
2401 minus the 182 minus the 174?
something like that. Yes,
That's correct.
it should be right.
It's the correct number sign?
Yeah.
Okay, we're close.
Okay, so is there any more discussion on this item? This is a funding item, and we do have to take a tabulation vote because we will be making expenses, and Michelle will take the roll on this
Jackie,
item.
Carrillo? Yes. Do you want me to read the thing, or do you want to read?
No, the motion, I just read it.
Okay.
Motion, discussion, possible action that LA County Neighborhood Council reallocate $2,225.32 into outreach committee.
Kathy Leal. Perla Flores. Miguel Vargas, absent. Michelle Corsantes, yes. Karina Cruz. Yes. Jose Luna.
Yes.
Tom Williams.
Yes.
Sani Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes.
Marcia Guzman.
Yes.
Cynthia Sandoval. Hugo Pacheco.
No.
Anthony Manzano.
Abstain.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. 10 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain, 1 absent, 1 ineligible.
Right, 13. Okay, 10, 1, 1, 1. We don't have the absent, but thank you. That board vote is 10 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 opposed, 1 abstaining, 1 ineligible. 10, 1, 1, 1. That motion does pass, and the reallocation will be approved. That goes to item 8.2. We now move to item number 9. Item number 9, we cannot complete at this time. It does seem logical that we fit and fill the recording secretary, but the bylaws indicate that all board members are eligible. And since we still have one vacancy left, it's possible that the next person to fill a vacancy may be the recording secretary. So to be fair and impartial, we're not allowed to fill the recording secretary position until all board members are seated. We have a full board. Then we can pick a recording secretary because there may be the potential that the vacant seat, which is South Region, may want to have that same opportunity to be a recording secretary as well. So,
I'd like to just ask that for when this discussion comes up, when we have a full board,
yes.
that
full
we
board.
have very clear delineated responsibilities for what that recording secretary would be doing.
Correct.
Because that was the issue that I had when I did it. If it was what we had discussed here, which was just basically doing this meeting, you know what I mean, that was something that I was going to do. I was not going to do all the joint general meetings. That just was going to be impossible. So that's the only comment.
And that's dictated inside the bylaws. So
And I know it is, but I'm saying
I'll
we can
mention
verbally could do it so everybody's on the same page, you know, next time.
Right, so now we move to item.
President, I'd like to move number 19 to be heard next.
I second.
Thank you.
Okay. And it was by Kathy, correct? Or Bella?
Jackie.
Bella? Okay, I'm sorry, this read it, I didn't know. Oh, it was Jackie. Okay, I just wanted to take my notes. We did have a motion to move an item out of order. Motion by Michelle, as second by Jackie Carrillo. So we're asked to take the board vote on moving this item out of order. We would hear it right now. Item 19. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Cynthia, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in favor to move. Those opposing, raise your hand. And those abstaining, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 904. That does pass. We can now move an item with the board's permission to move item number 19. So item number 19 is discussion possible action related to supporting the Derby Dolls on their conditional use permit application non-alcoholic request.
Can I ask one question before we do that?
Yes,
Number
ma'am.
9, did we postpone that?
Number 9 gets circled,
Indefinite?
yes. Gets circled, meaning that we have to rehear it again.
All right.
So between number 9, we go straight to 19. I got my arrow. So at this time, we'll take that person who wishes to open the item
I'd
by
like to
making
open
a motion.
item number 19, motion to discussion possible action related
Okay,
to supporting
Marcia?
the Derby Dolphin Rescue application.
Okay, Marcia, and the second by Tom? Tom Williams. Okay, we do have a motion before the board now, and we have public comment on number 19.
So what are the applicants, do you want us to make a presentation, or?
Yeah, we will give you, since you guys are the actual applicants, I'll give you 4 minutes. Public comment will get 3 minutes, but since you are the actual applicant, I'll give you 1 additional minute.
each person or?
Which is
together?
4.
That's not enough, you should give them more time. I thought we said at the executive meeting, we would give them like 10 minutes, if I recall.
That was
At
the,
Absolute Towing, they presented to us a nice, layout, and we had said we'd give you more than,
Well,
than that, but if you're the president.
well, we had 3 meetings here, executive committee meetings.
No, at Absolute was the last time they came, and they presented this,
Okay.
right?
At the land use committee.
Just let me bear with you.
Yeah.
I sort of feel that, right, they have met the land use committee and the presentation has been done there. Do you feel you need a full presentation this evening?
I don't think so, unless people have questions.
Okay, so is 4 minutes enough time for
I
you?
think it should be fine, yeah, and then we just have time for
Maybe
questions.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, let me put 5 minutes. No, I'm just asking, it's not public comment, so I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I'm trying to be more.
We're gonna
lenient.
try and keep it short.
Are
Correct.
the questions considered part of their time limit?
No,
No, okay.
no,
fine.
so I just set the time, 5 minutes, feel free.
Okay, good evening. So my name is Daphne Moxon, I'm from Acme Design and Consulting, and we're representing the LA Derby Dolls with an application to the city of LA. We have a number of people here from the Derby Dolls to answer questions. Grant here is the general manager, is your official?
Michael is general manager, I'm one of the board members.
Board members. So we're here to answer your questions. Is anyone familiar with the site? How much background?
Yeah, I love them.
Okay, great. So you're familiar with LA Derby Dolls and what they do, and so I'll skip all that, and then it makes it a lot faster for everyone. So, so what happens, up until recently, they held public games every other Saturday, and during the games, we have about 200 to 600 people coming out. They have some food trucks, and they have vendors at the space. And every time they had one of these events, they applied for and were granted a temporary special event permit from the city of LA, which allowed them to have the events. Basically what happened is that the Department of Building and Safety told them they were doing this too often and they had to apply for a permanent change of use rather than continuing to do these temporary special event permits. Unfortunately, because of the zone that it's in, their use is not allowed by right in that zone. So we met a lot with Building and Safety, we met with city planning, and the use they want them to establish is a small arena. So what that requires in this zone is a conditional use permit, which goes to the city planning commission. So it's a little bit different, you've probably seen CUPs for other things, and maybe you should go to a zoning administrator. So that's just, that's the bulk of our request is for the use in that zone. The second thing is to do with the parking. So the parking, let's make sure you got all the right numbers. So right now, there are 48 car parking stalls on site, and they're also going to be adding bike racks. For the bike ordinance, they can use bike racks. Replace car parking stalls with putting in 40 bike racks, which is 4 bike stalls for 1 car stall, so it's a 10 car stall credit that they'll get, so that makes 58 car parking stalls. Unfortunately, with the arena use and the manufacturing use is already there, there's 100 stalls that are required, so we do have to ask for a zone variance for deficient parking. Just a couple of things, the warehouse and the dolls don't operate at the same time, but their parking calculation is a cumulative thing. So, but they do basically share the parking. This is not happening at the same time. They also, on practice days, the demand is a lot lower than on game days. So most of the time, this parking is not enough to accommodate them. On game days, they do have a lease about 5-minute walk away onto the dirt lot. Since it's not a legal parking lot, we can't count that as their parking. So that's why the variance is for the full number of stalls, but that is available, something that they do offer, and they recognize it's important to provide parking for their guests. In addition, the sort of people who attend one of the games are very likely to carpool, likely to take ride-sharing services. There are buses that service the site, bike lanes, all kinds of things. So we think the parking that they have right now has been sufficient for them, and that's the argument that we made for justifying the zone variance findings. And then in addition, because of the change of use, they require you to restrike the parking lot to bring it up to modern code. And when you restrike, they require you to do all sorts of things. They treat it as though it's a brand new parking lot, even though they're not doing anything but putting new paint on the concrete. And one of the things that's required is a very significant amount of landscaping to meet the modern parking lot landscaping requirements. Unfortunately, to provide that, we take away parking stalls, which we don't think is a good thing. So we're requesting a deviation from the landscaping requirement as well as another zone variance. They have met, did you already meet with the beautification committee? Or reached out to the beautification committee of this neighborhood council, which was recommended to us at the land use committee. They definitely want to do some landscaping. It's just to meet the actual requirements, it's very specific about what they have to do. So we're looking at things like putting vines around the fence on the outside, things like that, just to make the property look nicer. They definitely want to be an asset to the community and make it look nice. So those are the 3 main requests.
feel like everything else you probably already know. So I had a bunch of support letters. I had a thumb drive, but you know there's a lot of community support for it. Those are the questions.
Before we go to the board members, I'm gonna go to the public first. Right, so are there anything else from you? Like part of your presentation, there's still, let me see how much time. You're still, 26 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what we're requesting from the city. And anything else that you might ask, I probably have an answer to, but I just don't want to waste your time if you already know it.
Thank you so much. I think you said your name was Daphne?
Daphne, yes.
Daphne. Okay, so this only says 10 seconds left, so I'm gonna first stop here. Is there any public comment or anything from the stakeholders? And please address them to the board if you have a question. Feel free, come right up and we will give you 3 minutes for your public comments. Relating to item number 19.
Hi, everybody. My name is Doug Glazer. I am a stakeholder. We've lived in El Sereno for a little over 11 years. This is actually the first board meeting that I've attended. And the reason that I'm here is because I feel like the Derby Dolls are very important to my family and also the community in general. I'm actually here on behalf of my 9-year-old daughter Stella, who is a member of one of the junior Derby Dolls teams. And I just like to say what a positive thing I feel that this organization has been for my daughter in particular, for many girls and young women. There are very few sports that I know of that are just for girls. My daughter came in not knowing how to skate. She's now skating. She has confidence. She's learning about teamwork. I feel like all the coaches and members of the other teams are really good role models for girls. And you know, I've seen a few changes in our community over the last 10+ years. So far, this has been the best one. I think it's bringing new people to the community. People that had never even heard of El Sereno before are coming to these games. And the main thing is they need this permit so they can start hosting bouts again, because that's like the main source of income. And we're donating and doing as many fundraisers as we can, but they really just need to be able to start hosting public bouts again. And I understand it might be an issue with the fire codes. I don't know if you guys have inspected the site. It's hard to see that as an issue, really. As it seems like the space is perfectly safe, and I know that they've made some changes to make it even safer. So I seriously hope that you guys would really consider this request.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
3 minutes for you as well, Yolanda.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
Actually, first I'm going to speak on behalf of my niece. She's also a junior Derby doll, and her parents are out of town, so I'm first going to speak up for them. As I said, my niece is part of the Junior Derby Dolls. It's a great organization. It promotes wellness, healthy, activity for the girls, and it helps them with the self-esteem. It's there as a support group, not only to the girls, but also to the Derby Dolls themselves. That they're very supportive of each other. It's a family, and so I would say I would ask this board to help them out, supporting and helping them move this permit, getting it approved. They are a nonprofit organization, so the routes they can't have any right now because they don't have this permit. But allowing them to have the routes will allow them to, to have have them have some funds to help them with their operations because they are a nonprofit. It's volunteer based. Okay, so that's on behalf of my niece. Now, as community member here, the Derby Dolls, since they moved in to El Sereno, street crew reached out right away as soon as they moved into El Sereno. I think it was 3 Pride festivals ago. It's when they first came out, and they came and met the community, reached out. LA 32 has had co-sponsored events with them. councilman's office. They posted meetings at the venue. So I think it's a great asset to have. And I know, because when they do have routes, they send out emails telling whoever's going to visit to be respectful of the neighbors, not to block driveways, to park their adults, park further away so they leave the facility. So they are very, they work a lot with the community in making sure that things run as smoothly as possible. They even got another parking lot down the street so the visitors can park there and not be an inconvenience to the community. So they go out of their way to make sure that they don't bring issues to the community, but work with us. So I think that we should support them and work with them as well and help them stay here in the community. Okay.
Anything further from the public? This is public comment period. None? Now we have board members' discussion and debate. I'll start on my left right here.
Thank you, Anthony. So, and actually she touched base a little bit on it already, which I wanted to see what kind of effort has been made to reach out to the neighbors in regards to the parking issue. And also, is that parking lot across the street, the dirt one's still gonna be available? Okay, so that's still. So yeah, just kind of, if you could just let us know what kind of efforts you've to let the neighbors know. Obviously parking is always an issue, especially in El Sereno where you have multiple families living in a household, so you have already a parking issue. So can you let me know a little bit about how you're doing to mitigate that and what kind of feedback you receive from the neighbors?
Well, right off the bat, when you go to purchase our tickets, we have some wording in there that says, please don't park in the neighborhood. There's a lot for you, and there's plenty of street parking. Depending on the time of the event, they can also park on Valley, but unfortunately that ends at 8 o'clock, and most of our events start at 8 o'clock. Well, they start a little bit early, but they go past 8 o'clock.
And we have spoken to the council office about having the signs.
Yeah.
Just as-
We're trying to get that fixed.
So when we first moved in, those signs weren't there. Within 2 months, they appeared. But I am the GM, and it's my event for the most part. And I go out into the street. Well, we have a crew that opens, and they go and they put signs, and it says, please don't park in the neighborhood. Please don't park on this street. And we pretty much line the street with it. And then I also go out into the neighborhood and make sure that none of our people are parking there. Usually we have a crowd that comes most of the time at the same time. Our skaters know and our refs know not to park in the neighborhood. And we also have a lot that they park in the building next door.
With this CUP, is there going to be an increase in the amount of people attending the events, or is it just business as usual, just trying to exceed?
Yes,
Correct.
I was just formalizing what they're already doing.
It's just
Okay.
the use of the building, it's not gonna change the number of seats we have, the number of stands we have, any of that sort of stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time.
Do we have anything further here from the board members? Aaron, anything? Tom?
I have a real dilemma. Number one, this is a light industrial area. Zone, what's the zoning on it? Specific. My point is that the land use that would be normally required for that is not compatible with public events of large numbers and, of course, the parking. One of the problems with the large numbers is emergency escape.
Yes.
Are there any fire sprinklers in the facilities?
Of course, yes. Yes.
Is it fully sprinkled?
Yeah, we just had our annual fire inspection.
Okay.
And we
That's my concern. One of the things in the background that I have is that this is part of a larger proposed bioscience corridor that extends along both Valley and Alhambra from Griffles and Concord all the way to USC. If this is going to be there, it interrupts potential high-paying, high-tech jobs.
I can address that actually. We met with city planning about this. So this building had been vacant for many years before the Derby Dolls
Yes.
took it over. So they did have a hard time finding a tenant. One of the reasons why city planning is comfortable with this request is because everything that they've done with the facility can be removed quite easily. They haven't altered the building in any way. And so it could be, because it's a conditional use permit, right, which means it could be taken away in the future. It could be converted back to manufacturing with very little effort. And that's what our planner said, the reason why he feels that he's
I've
comfortable
been
with the
involved in the east side of downtown, and it's the same issues there. But here, this is my neighborhood. So I'm more concerned about it here, and it's something like, I say, I'm against the 710. Why? Not because the tunnel is irrelevant to us, but because it takes a piece of property away from Griffiths as a potential employment base. Probably 300 biotech jobs. So I might say, being somewhat consistent, unfortunately, having a skate park.
No, it's a roller derby arena.
It's an arena, but it is not, might say, compatible with the surrounding uses. Yeah, it's been vacant, I know that. It's just a matter that, for me, it's not the right use in the right place. And I've done a lot of land use planning, including industrial. So, and right now I'm involved in several EIRs, MNDs for the east of Alameda area in downtown LA. And they're going through the same thing. Large.
Very different in the arts district because they're actually converting those buildings into things like residential. Whereas they, again, all they've done is brought things in. They brought their track in, they brought seating in. None of it is, it can be removed so easily. It's not like they're building
if that's the case,
units.
can we put an automatic 3-year, you have to come back for a renewal?
I mean, we would prefer not to, but it is within your right as a board to recommend that as a condition.
Because that would indicate it as an ongoing temporary use dependent upon the will of the neighborhood.
Thank you, Tom. Anything further? Tommy, do you have any input, discussion, debate, Karina? No, Cynthia here?
I actually have been to the arena, and thank you very much for bringing that new, you want to call it a sport, correct? And it's also an addiction for some people, because I know that every time that they had a flyer going around, I wanted to be there. But I did go once, and we was VIP seating, and it was really, I really had a great time. I've seen the conditions of the parking situations as well, and I have seen them change since before they were, you guys were closed down. I appreciate that you guys are there, and I, for one, would like you to have your seat.
Thank you.
Michelle, to my right. Any discussion? Jackie, any discussion? Perla. Kathy? Hugo, anything to give input?
When they had a presentation there by the council office, and I'll be honest, I had such a hard time getting parking. Parking was so, I kept saying, why would you want to be here? Because I went up, down the street, everywhere trying to get parking. I ended up parking behind this mobile home on Valley, I said, or no, Alhambra Road. And I said, okay, is this would be something? Now, I do want to give you one concern, and it's somebody had called me saying that the alcohol, you guys have never served alcohol there, have you? I'm not talking about selling it, serving it.
The alcohol is all done by an outside vendor, so that's why their permit is not for alcohol, but what they do is people who have alcohol licenses pull a catering permit to be able to serve
Bring your own bottle.
at the game.
No, it's called special license.
Yeah.
No,
It's called
no
special one-day
PYI.
license,
It's
right?
yes, one-day special event.
And how often does that occur?
That's just for the public games, which are twice a month.
It's twice a month you have alcohol? Because right here, when we're putting this motion, it says no alcohol.
The CUP is for no alcohol, because we are not applying for an alcohol license ourselves. We get people to cater that, as you would a
Like
wedding
at a,
or
yeah,
any other
if you
event.
had an event here, you could get a caterer to come in here and sell alcohol in this venue, but this venue itself is not licensed to sell alcohol, it's a similar thing.
So I guess, and that was my concern, is people could say, you know, they do serve alcohol. And I said, are you sure? Because I don't see the license per se for you. But now I understand it's twice a month. And so it's done through a nonprofit? Is that the way the license gets done?
Yeah, LADD is a nonprofit, but the catering company would
The
be a
catering company
for-profit
is a
company.
for-profit catering company who.
So who pulls the one-day permit?
They do.
They do, the catering company pulls the permit for the alcohol.
It could be like any local bar or restaurant that has a liquor license can go to ABC and pull a one-day permit to cater.
Could.
They're responsible to ABC for.
Yeah, but they're the ones who have to comply with all of that.
And could it be put somewhere on a conditional use permit that no alcohol be served at all? And not even be pulled by a caterer? What would happen to your business if that would occur?
We would not have bar sales.
Yeah, we wouldn't be.
We would sell more water and soda.
There have been times in the health issue we have not had alcohol at events.
I'm just relating to the concerns that I've gotten over the phone from different stakeholders about the alcohol and kids being around at the same time with the alcohol. And so I'm just relaying, I'm trying to think in my head, how do we?
Well, we've been getting permits. We were having events, and every event that we had a temporary special event permit. We would go to ABC and the bar, the people that did the catering, they would get their permit. And then we would also have the fire permit, and they would come through and they would inspect the warehouse and make sure that we were doing everything properly and that everything was secure. Along with that, there was also an escape plan. So we do have those. And then the person that signs it off is the Hollenbeck district. We have a sergeant who we would show all the paperwork to, he would go over everything, and then he would sign it off. At the events, we have security. Security that checks your ID, security that checks and makes sure you're not drinking alcohol, and they're throughout the warehouse. We have never had a problem, not one.
Well, just be aware of that I have gotten a call. About the concern of the kids and the alcohol together.
We do have our sales before the end of the game too.
Similar dynamic.
I'm telling you what I got in the phone calls, I'm not.
No.
Thank you, people. Anything, Mr. Lam? Daphne, I was taking notes, and you mentioned that there was 3 things, but I guess I only wrote down 2. You're asking for parking relief or parking variance?
Yes.
And also landscaping variance?
Yes.
What's the 3rd one?
The main one is the conditional use permit for the use.
Oh, for the use of
For
the
the
building?
event,
Okay,
it's
the
MR1
use of the
zone.
building. Okay, and the only question I have, and I believe it was answered, is you guys didn't have to modify the building, add restrooms, take down a wall. As part of this land use or conditioning permit, you didn't have to change the component of the structure.
No, if that would come up during the building permit process anyways, and it's not a planning issue. But no, that hasn't been something that's been undertaken.
Okay. Is there anything further from the board? No. No more discussion and debate? What we do is we're going to take a position right now, and this is, you've probably seen this is the first action item that we actually generate other than voting on our minutes and whatever else you've seen us do. What I'm going to do is ask for a stakeholder consensus. It's something that I've started here, and hopefully something around the entire city does this at the neighborhood council level. What we do is we're going to ask the public, those who are standing in the audience, just to weigh in. They're not part of the official tally, but I'm just going to ask them what do they feel about it, just to help reassure what we're going to do. So at this time, some of the board members or the public who've been here in the past may have seen that we've done this. It's just been initiated right around February, and I call it the stakeholder consensus. I'm going to read the motion. Motion, discussion and possible action related to supporting the Derby Dolls on their conditional use permit application. Those in the community, stakeholders, if you're in favor of this, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 9?
Well,
absolutely.
10.
Okay.
We're stakeholders also.
Yes, you are. Okay. Let me cross this out. 11 in favor of the stakeholder consensus. Okay, and those opposed? None. Okay, so 11 stakeholders feel that they agree with this idea. Now it's time to ask the board, since this is a non-funding item, I'll probably be preparing a resolution if needed. If not, we could just advise the planning department that the board did act, whatever the position of the board is taken at this time. I'll read it one more time for the board to vote. Discussion and possible action related to supporting the Derby Dolls on their conditional use permit application from the board. Those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This number goes here. Those opposing, raise your hand. 1. And those abstaining, raise your hand. There's 2 of us. And those ineligible, oh, you did vote because it's not funding. So this is 13. 10, 1, 2, 10 in favor, 1 opposed, 2 abstaining. That does pass, so congratulations for the Derby Dolls. We call it a resolution to show that you're here before the board, that the board did take an action, and that we're in favor of the motion as read on the document. And I can probably have that ready by Friday. If you need something like that, you could turn it into whoever you need at the zoning administration office.
Great.
Thank
you so much. Thank you for your time.
Anthony,
I'd like to move number 14.
Okay, so we just close, let me close this item, then we cross it out. Okay, item 19 is closed. I'm gonna start from my right. What did you want to mention, Jackie?
She wants to move 14.
Right.
I second. Our bylaws say 9 o'clock.
Bylaws does not say that. There's no time to end the meeting. It used to say when we wrote it down, but I didn't write it down. So, Tom, what did you want to mention?
I wanted to accelerate 21, 22.
You want to move it out of order?
Okay,
Jackie said already, she said she'd like to move 14 and I seconded.
okay, so you want to hear
21 and 22, because they're basically the same.
Anthony,
Jackie wants to hear 21.
I need clarification. I know in the past when we've gone past 9, we've had to have a vote.
Right.
I just told him
The
that.
reason was because on the agenda, when they were preparing the agenda, they said they claimed that the meeting was over at 9. I don't have the closing time.
Which reminds me, it's not 5:45, our meeting started at 6. Bylaws does say 6
Correct.
o'clock.
That's why they call the orders at 6.
That's a grievance.
No, it's not a
coming
grievance
in the
because
government.
it's not, it's
I
just
think
showing
you
the
got a
people.
grievance already.
No, not on that because the meeting
Yeah,
order
the
complies with the
party, you
bylaws.
got a grievance.
Great, I'd like to see it. So Marcia, what did you want to
Okay,
do?
you guys, let's stop fighting amongst each other.
I just wanted to make sure we were inviting.
We don't have to finish it now. We don't have to finish it now. Tom Williams, your question is to move 20,
So I'd like to
21.
motion to adjourn.
21.
I second her motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
But wait a minute, when do we finish all this business?
Hold on.
Motion to adjourn, Marcia second.
Hold on, I'm making my notes. I need to go here. Michelle. Marcia, you said second?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion at this time to adjourn our meeting, and we're going to take a board vote whether we should terminate our meeting or not. Those in favor, raise your hand. I'll start to my right and count. 1, 2.
Only 2 people said yes, the majority is gonna say no.
Those opposing, adjourning, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I abstain. So the motion does not pass. The motion continues. So Jackie, you wanted to hear item 14. Okay, there's a motion to hear item 14 now. Is there a second?
Oh, is that for my guys?
Perla? Okay. After we hearing number 19, we move to item 10 on the agenda. There's been a motion to move item 14 out of order by Jackie and Perla, seconded by Perla. All those in favor of moving this item to be heard at this time, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in favor. And those opposed, raise your hand. Those abstaining, raise your hand. Okay, at this time, we're going to hear item number 14 has been moved out of order. Jerry, you could speak to us, and you need about 5 minutes for the presentation.
Just so you know, we'll take till 9:30. After 9:30, staff is not going to be able to block. He's pretty much doing that for free, and I'm sure that's fair that we make them stay. Or whatever the staff member is. Whoever's there, yeah, because there's a staff member that gets paid. There's a staff member that gets paid right now.
That is 10:01. 10:01 moved out of order. At this time, we're hearing item 14. Go ahead, sir, we have you 5 minutes.
Michael Lynn from Los Angeles Board of Airports, here on behalf of our Open Planetside Access Monetization Program at LAX.
As you're aware, we're now the second busiest airport in the United States after after Atlanta, it passed up Chicago Air. At the bottom of the recession in 2009, we were at 59 million annual passengers. In 2016, we're up to 80 million annual passengers. LAX is a major economic generator for the community. 620,000 jobs in the region are either directly or indirectly due to the airport. $37.3 billion in labor income, $126 billion in business revenues, and finally, for those of us in government, $14.9 billion in local, state, and federal tax revenues are generated either directly or indirectly by the airport. LAX is in the process of modernizing its airport. Basically, the last time we did it was in 1984 for the 1984 Olympics. So this is the newest extreme makeover that we've done since 1984. We're spending $14 billion on the airport. The first $8.5 billion of that you've seen in the terminals, the new John Bradley International Terminal, the Midfield Concourse, which is being constructed on the other side of the taxiway from it. And Delta Airlines is going to be moving May 12th into terminals 2 and 3, and they'll be spending $2 billion to renovate and modernize those 2 terminals. The downside to all this increase in service and increase in capacity is that we're now got 95,000 vehicles on an average day in the central terminal area, and on Thanksgiving that goes up to 120,000 vehicles. The result is delays of up to 30 minutes or even more in trying to get from Terminal 1 all the way around the Horseshoe to Terminal 8 during the Thanksgiving holidays. Making matters worse is more than half the vehicles in the central terminal area are not private vehicles. You see them. You see the big buses, the big vans, the big shuttles, and just they make things worse not simply by their numbers, but also the fact that they're so much bigger than private vehicles in that space and the space they take up. At this point, I'll show you this big slide showing these big buses and things, that sort of thing. The other problem is there's 23 rental car lots scattered around the airport. If you've been on Century Boulevard and you've seen the wayward and the lost, the rental car customer who went to the Grand Canyon, San Francisco, and what he remembers of Las Vegas before coming back to the airport. So all this is causing a serious traffic congestion around the airport, and that's what the Landside Access Modernization Program is designed to address. Basically consists of a 6 million square foot consolidated rental car facility that would be constructed right next to the 405 freeway. That gets all the rental car buses out of the airport, out of Central Terminal. It also gets all those confused people driving around the airport into a consolidated rental car facility right by the 405 with the direct ramp into it. 2 intermodal transportation facilities would be built, 3 million square foot each. These would be the new front door of LAX. This is where people would take up and drop off their passengers if they're any of those shuttles, any of those buses, any of those vans. And also we're going to put shops and things in them to attract even the people in private vehicles who would still be able to go into Central Terminal area. We'll encourage them to use these transit hubs outside of the CTA. The parking will be cheaper and we'll have plenty of stores for them to go into and buy gift. I love LA mug. I remember Vegas vaguely, and I left my home in San Francisco. Now, connecting all these and a light rail station at 96 and Aviation Street would be a 2.25 mile automated people mover, running from the consolidated rental car facility all the way into the airport. 3 stations outside, 3 stations inside, 10 minutes. Yes, I said 10 minutes. I looked at the planning person. I said, I'm going to public minutes. I'm saying 10 minutes. They said, yes, you can take 10 minutes. So that's the project. The goal objective is to have the consolidated rental car facility, the automated people mover, and the ITFs, the new front door, constructed by 2023, hopefully in time for the next Olympics in Los Angeles. But whether we get the Olympics or not, the fact of the matter is air service demand is increasing very dramatically at LAX, and we need to address this traffic issue. I want to thank you very much. I've been going to as many of the 96 neighborhood councils as I can, making this presentation and seeking support letters from them in support of this project so we can present it to our city council. The city council will take it up on May 16th. 2 of their committees will be meeting that afternoon. The Los Angeles County Airport Land Use Commission will take it up on May 31st. And then the full city council will take it sometime up in mid-June. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Right on time. right at the 5 minutes.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm wondering where the light rail will go.
The light rail, the LAX Expo line is coming south, and it comes along Aviation Boulevard. That's where they took that bridge out and took out one of the lanes on Century Boulevard. causing a more immediate traffic problem that we're having on Century. And that bridge it will basically, I believe it's going to go all the way down, and they're connecting with the Green Line station that currently exists down in El Segundo. So that'll be the first phase of the light rail connection. And the proposal and plan is at some point, they might even actually bring the Green Line cars north and have them meet at 96th and Aviation, where there'd be a light rail station, and the Green Line is basically a heavy rail station. And have both of them meet at that point. But we will finally have the thing that everybody's been asking for the last 30 years, a light rail connection down there.
All right, before we continue, and I know you might have a question, we did move this item out of order, Mike, can you give the presentation? Sure. What we need is a motion and a second before we continue.
Okay, session.
Okay, so I'm gonna write down real quick, Cassidy and Betterna, that's all I really needed right now. So now we can move to further discussion. Is there any public comment on item number 14? Public comment. Okay, now Hugo, go right ahead.
So you got the car rentals on 405, right?
That's right, there'll be a 6 million square foot consolidated car facility right there next to 405, north of Century, right up against the 405.
And then you were talking about the shuttles and the buses.
Right now, a lot of the problems in the Central Terminal area, all the half-empty rental car buses, they kind of troll around trying to fill their buses before they go out to the rental car lots. They're going out to 23 different locations, so they're on 23 different streets, okay? And they're about 5 to 10% of the traffic is just those rental car buses. By having the consolidated rental car facility and the automated people mover going from the Conrack into the airport terminals, those buses are gone. You will not see those buses anymore.
Fantastic. Now, the other thing you talked about, the people movers, that one thing that keeps going in my mind is how to guarantee that that thing's going to be working all the time. What happens if it breaks down? I mean, maybe you could describe the people mover.
All I can tell you is my experience with most airports is they manage not to have them break down, and they also figure out whatever, if they had to, they probably use buses and vans. They'd figure out something to do with it. But we're making reliability is a very critical, important part of that system, and we'll be trying to get a system that we can feel that we can sort of be as reliable as possible. I mean, we're talking about something that's kind of, in a lot of ways, kind of a little bit lighter technology than what they use on the light rail. The light rail has been very reliable, dependable, Metrolink. All the trains that we've had in LA have been fairly reliable.
Any further questions from the board? Anything from the board on this side?
Just want to say thank you for coming to several meetings that we set up.
Oh, no problem. And I appreciate the opportunity. I started out as a newspaper reporter covering city council meetings and community groups. So this is like all that.
So I see your hand went up. Did you have to say something?
No, I just want to talk about also.
Oh, okay. So is there anything further from the board? What we're going to do is now take the stakeholder consensus. I'm going to read the item. It's an action and discussion and possible action to support the LAMP, which is the Land Side Access Modernization Project, which is a major improvement to LAX. Attachment B is included. Board members, you should have received it. It looks like this, and it says draft on your copy. My copy is blank. I can probably sign it depending on the board's position in a moment. I will also be preparing a separate independent resolution to indicate the board's action after the board vote. So that document will be part of the attachment on the agenda. Those in the stakeholders, we're going to do the stakeholder consensus. Those in favor of item 14, raise your hand in the public. The stakeholder consensus, those in the community, that's approved item 14. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Board members, we have 4 stakeholders agreed with this motion. It's up to the board to make a determination. This is a non-funding item, so it's not a roll call vote. I'll just take a show my hand. All in favor of approving the Land Side Access Modernization Project at LAX, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in favor. Those opposed, raise your hand. And those abstaining, raise your hand. Myself and Tom. Okay, that's 2 abstaining. Michael, this does pass with a vote of 10-0-2. So your support document is right here. Now I'll prepare a resolution. That will be item 14. Card, absolutely. And I have a card on myself.
I can send a PDF to
Thank you for your work, Dr.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 21 and 22.
Correct, okay, now I wanted to speak on items number 21 and 22 before we move forward. It is part of the discussion, and maybe I should wait for the discussion to weigh in. So I'll have Tom wants to move from 14 to now 21 and 22, but I have some input on that, so let me see, like this went from here to 21 and 22. Right, Tom, and then second by Kathy. Right, it's 21 and 22 right now. Okay. Is there a second? Someone have a second to move items 21 and 22?
A second.
Okay, Simon, thank you. What I wanted to do is, I would.
11 minutes, so.
Right. I do like to weigh in on something like this, but I really don't like to give as president discussion or input, but I think it's appropriate. I was almost not gonna put these on the agenda. The reason why, for 21 and 22, they were not heard at a committee level, meaning it's not a recommendation. And also, it just says, authorize LA 32 Lanier Chair to submit public comment. The board has not taken a position. We don't know if his comment's gonna be yes. We don't know if his comments is gonna be no. We don't know if his comment's gonna be whatever he wants to talk about because he's not taking a position of the board. For those two reasons, it was not heard at committee, and therefore this board has not voted on it. I don't feel appropriate that we take action. I was almost not gonna put him on there, but then the land use committee chair would said, Anthony, I turned him in, and it was because of you. You said don't put him on there. Well, I want to express it thoroughly here before the body that these two items were not done properly, and I would suggest that we don't hear them at this time because we don't have a position when we go to downtown and give public comment on behalf of LA 32. And say what? Nobody knows, exactly. So since we don't know, we can't vote. That's my position. So I want to hear from the board to see what we're going to do for items 21 and 22. Let's
I
roll them
agree
over.
that we need to postpone this then.
It's a time sensitive item.
When is it being heard by the?
Right, downtown, land use committee.
The deadline is in May.
Planning.
When already made a motion, and already seconded.
Right.
It needs to be a draft.
Right,
It's gonna be, if it dies down,
But this
dies
is not a
down.
new item to the board.
right. Okay, that's what I'm saying. These, I don't know if these really items here for it. The committee did not hear these items, and I checked all the land use committee agendas. Not on there.
That's because the new MMD was just released,
Okay,
and it's, what, 700 pages?
okay.
But this item has been before the board.
Not us.
It has been in the past,
Oh,
and
and
there's
years
been
ago,
meetings.
yes, and years
And
ago.
stakeholders have come and spoken their mind on it, and the hearing is this month. So I think, you know, it is a sensitive item, and, you know, there's opposition to it. It's critical in the sense that it's with development in our hillsides, and that will trigger other developments. So I do think that it is the job of the neighborhood council to take a position. I mean, that's one of the,
Point of order.
Let me finish. I didn't time you, but I want to hear what your finished thoughts. I
no,
wanna
so
hear-
I'm just saying that it is a time-sensitive issue. It's, I don't think you will meet again before hearing more about it.
I think we're gonna have to, and
We're gonna
we
have
have
to.
so many things to do.
First of all, in terms of order, a motion has been made, it's been seconded. Now it goes to public comment.
Right, that's what I'm doing.
That's what you can do now, and then we can do it, it either passes or dies.
We
Correct, that's
also
what I'm
have
taking
to
public comment.
consider it of the fact that there's a staff person here and that's getting paid at 9:30 and we need to leave. That's
And we need to, we need to,
So that's what I'm saying.
because the deadline was on Monday.
Unless they.
yeah, but you know what? The bylaws are too serious of a thing for us to be rushing through them.
Right
So
now, we're talking
I'm not
about
really
21
worried
and
about
22.
it.
If we
One
all
moment,
submit
one
them,
moment.
we're not gonna get a chance.
Then I think that we need to
never.
keep the ones that we have until we have a thorough discussion
We're
on
doing
the board.
item
We can't be
21 and
rushing
22
through
right now.
stuff.
For right now, we're doing item 21 and 22 to be moved out of order.
I like when you made to approve the bylaws.
So we're doing item 21.
I I guess if you're not gonna have it, if you're not gonna take a vote, I don't know if you're gonna be having a special meeting, but I do think it's a responsibility of the NC to take a stand before the deadline, before the hearing. You have stakeholders who have been waiting for over 3 hours to speak on this item. If it was not going to be an item that was to be addressed, it would have been nice to inform us at the beginning of the meeting. These items will not be addressed for these reasons.
This is more important than LAX. Okay, the truth is, yes, the neighborhood council should hear this, but you've been involved for many years, and the process is, we take a position on a committee's recommendation. No committee recommended this.
No, that's because he wanted the board to make the decision. He
Right.
didn't want to make a decision for the board.
So what happens is since the board hasn't made a decision, how do we know what position the chair of the land use committee would give? Okay, so,
We need to go through the process.
right.
You've already
So is there any more public comment? Any more public comment? Sir, go ahead. I'll give you a full 2 minutes.
It needs to be advertised.
You just mentioned 2 minutes. All right, I'll give you 3 minutes to address us.
Please, folks, listen. This is the discussion.
Yes.
Right, guys, this is our neighborhood, we live here, it's more important than what LAX. We live here, they're going to plow down every tree and every bit of grass for a child to have experience. And they can build malls and multi-story apartment buildings and store, do we really need a Subway, right? Do we really need another McDonald's or Jack in the Box? This is a gorgeous piece of land. Everybody lives up there. Everybody comes down Eastern, sees it every day. Trees. You don't get that in most places in Los Angeles, right? They want to wreck it. They want to take it away and put more apartments. There are parcels of land all over on Huntington, Eastern, Valley, that are just junk. Let them redevelop those. If they take away the natural spaces, that's it, we'll never get them back. It's the only time we have them. And we are the last place in Los Angeles that still has these. We're so lucky to live here. They're so rare. We can't just give it up without a thought into it. It's more important than the bylaws. That's crucial. You know? It will destroy, traffic-wise, I mean, yeah, I'll make it out. But these 100-year-old trees will never get back.
Thank you very much, sir, for your input. Do we have anything further from the public? Anything further from the stakeholders?
Wait,
The public, please. Yes.
fast.
Okay.
It was mentioned earlier, I'm on the land use committee, and this item, we couldn't meet before the deadline, so that's why it's before you guys, because it was brought up 30 days, before the comment period was over, so. by the time- So 26, by the time we meet, we will meet again, so that's why it's before you guys as a board to take a stand on this, because most of you guys have heard this before, that people are opposed to this project. That's the first time you guys hear it. We've been before past meetings where people have come and drove and stood here before this board and asked not to have that area built for apartments on. So again, it's not that we as a land use committee didn't do our job, it's just that it's time sensitive and we don't have enough time as a land use and as a board to meet, the proper way. So we ask you guys to please take a stand on this and help us out, the community, to see that the open space is raised open. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything further from the stakeholders? Board members, discussion for item 21 and 22 collectively because they both relate to the
I just
same.
had a question, so why didn't the land use chair hear it?
They didn't, I don't know. What happened is I was at the executive committee meeting, and what I do is I receive in writing all the motions to put on the agenda. Miguel turned them in. and I received them, and I'm looking at it. And then what I did is I went back to land use committee agendas, and they were never on any land use issue agendas, so I was starting to think in my mind, how did we formulate this recommendation? Then when I read what it just says, to authorize the chair to submit public comment on behalf of LA 32. Well, the way we do that is the board takes a vote whether we support or oppose. We haven't done that yet. Then the board can go reflect, the chair can go reflect the board's position. What they're sort of asking is for the board to give for the chair to give a position, well, we don't know if it's in favor or opposed yet.
So then we can't do that. If we don't know what the position is, how are
Right.
we
We're gonna
supposed to?
formulate
So that's what they're asking, they want us to vote now, but we're not,
formulating
right.
our position.
So if we say, oh, well, we're gonna vote now, for example,
So is
this vote.
Is this gonna be, I mean, are we gonna start something here, a trend here now out of corporate protocol? Because, I mean, so can people now just start submitting things without having to go to the board? There's a lot of stuff right there.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
But can I make,
We should do a special meeting then.
So it's just authorizing Miguel
I'm not saying you're opposed.
to submit a public comment on
Right.
behalf of LA32.
Right, but we don't know if the public comments to say yes or no. You understand? What he
Did
could
you
go,
amend it so it takes a position?
But it's the chair,
it says,
Yeah.
right. And usually what will happen is when the board takes a vote, example like the LAX, if someone calls, I could go to City Hall and say, yes, on this date, LA 32 voted yes. Right now, Miguel is saying, LA 32 hasn't said yes or no, but I still want to go speak. And what is he going to say down there? Nobody knows yet.
well, we take a position.
We could take a position on, not on the project, because this is not regarding the project. This is just allowing the chair to go speak in downtown.
This
I'm
is
gonna-
old
I'm gonna-
business. This has been.
This has been
before
brought
us
in
for
before,
years.
and it has,
It's supposed to
I
be
know,
old
I know
business,
it's a
continuation
situation,
of
but
old
it's been
business.
brought up before.
Yes.
So I
But it's
guess I
been-
know Miguel doesn't want nothing to get built up there, he wants to keep it as it is.
Then the committee should have made that recommendation.
So they didn't meet.
They
And
had
it's a
time
vote to make
limit.
a
That's what I'm
They
saying.
did.
I'm gonna go right here to Hugo Pacheco next. He had 10.
Okay, because you have to read what it says here.
Correct.
You need the land use chair to submit public comment. Which public comment? Tonight's public comment? The committee's public comment? What public comment?
We don't
And
know.
if we don't know what the public comment, what are we voting for?
Right.
I mean, we got a motion that makes no
Public
sense.
comment at the Developments Revised MND, and they're gonna meet in May, you said?
May
The-
26th.
the
May
hearing.
26th.
Now, what's the public comment that's going
What's
to be
his
submitted?
position? Is he for it or opposed it?
Do you support it?
I already said we have to have a special meeting. I don't know why
Okay.
we're sitting here
Okay, so
discussing.
is there any further discussion from the board? Any further discussion from the board?
No, hold on, be careful.
Okay.
No, be careful, because when you take a position, watch, if we vote against this thing, it dies.
Correct.
And-
Right.
Okay, I'm just telling you, yeah.
And then the committee has to formulate a real recommendation whether
Well,
to
why don't
support
they
the
just
project
take
or not.
their motion back and their second, and then that's it, and then they have to.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Have a
It's easier to pull out
then say
instead of
that.
doing
Say
it.
that.
killing it,
Say that.
because
Say that.
reconsideration brings it up,
Say that.
folks.
Who motioned it?
Okay, can whoever
If we
motioned
vote
it,
no,
take it back?
if we vote no, this is just not to authorize him to go speak.
No, because we want him to go speak, but we have to have a special meeting, so let's take
You'll
the
have to do
motion back
reconsideration to bring
and
it
the
up
second,
again.
withdraw them.
If we vote no now,
No, we're not.
No, we're not voting.
We want to remove the motion from the table, and they want to take the second back, so that would be, we would have a special meeting, yes.
Tom, do you wish to withdraw your motion?
Uh,
I would say no, because you've already made it, and it's time for the board to decide. I'm gonna give it up to you.
Then it would be a question as, can I amend it so that to authorize LA 32 and the Land Use Committee Chair to propose on behalf of LA 32 Neighborhood Council, the Lombardi Eastern Development revised amendment.
Now you're making a motion without the committee's recommendation. We don't have no recommendation yet,
Okay, then.
and I prefer to have the committee.
The committee wanted
Then-
the board to
Then we
decide.
might as well just forget it and remove it. Okay. I will withdraw my motion. And that kills the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't suppress it, it kills it, because tomorrow is the meeting of the CFAC to the Board of Public Works and regarding the walnut trees. May 26th, nobody can get anything done.
No, we can have a special meeting.
So those items are going to be circled and they can be held over and are probably not going to be agendized next month because they weren't agendized properly. The committee never formulated a recommendation for these.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I saw one submitted.
Okay, so those have been withdrawn. We're going to go back to item number 10 on the agenda.
You gotta withdraw the second.
Move item number 16.
Second.
Discussion of possible action to approve the Alley 32 bylaw amendment for recommendation for bylaw committee. Okay, so now we're gonna move from 10 to 16. Okay, this is Perla. And who's second? Okay, we have a motion, discussion, possible action to approve the Alley 32 Council bylaw amendment for recommendation. We have 5 minutes, we have to leave soon. I'm gonna ask that Perla make the motion, Jackie make the second. Is there public comment? Public comment? Discussion, possible action to approve the Alley 32 NC bylaw amendments per recommendations of the Alley 32 Neighborhood Council Bylaws Committee. Attachment A is this.
Keep in mind,
Tell us what we're supposed to
we need to submit something.
Are we
So
done?
can we just vote?
The other thing?
I don't know.
You asked for public comment.
We're gonna have a special agenda.
Public
Are you
comment?
gonna have a special meeting?
We're gonna try.
For the land use, they're gonna try.
Right.
But we're on another item now.
So when is that meeting gonna be?
Can we
don't
talk
know
about
yet.
that when we're done? I'm sorry,
We'll
we're on
tell you
item
the chair will
16.
let them know.
We're on another item right now.
It'll be online? We'll get
So
the
we're
items online?
We're item on, yes, it'll be online.
We have to be out by 9:45 because I have a lot of questions here, so
Before.
I'm just letting you guys know that this is gonna take a while for me to go through, so I think we need to wait on this. And I understand there's a deadline, but I don't think we should be amending bylaws in a
Hold
rush.
on.
Okay, they
I
were
want
not. They
everyone
were
to be
posted for
patient.
30 days.
I'm just saying,
I want
I have a lot
everyone
of
to be
questions and I
patient.
wanted to do them publicly.
I know there's a time frame, which is 5 minutes. There's some board members who might not feel comfortable voting on that.
Okay, that's fine.
There's some board members who feel that there's a deadline, which was May the 1st, which they're trying to comply with. So now there's 2 time frames, 5 minutes and a 2-day one that we're over for May the 1st. But we still have to listen to Marcia and each one of us if we want to enter discussion and debate, and if they all want to give input to change the structure of the bylaws, because that's the whole idea of the committee. Accept input.
But we're not the committee hearing this. This is the general board. The committee did their work.
Right, but we posted for 30 days, and today, if you wanted any amendments, please speak to one now. Right
How could
now.
that be? I thought that was on the 29th.
How do you take public input? How do you take public amendments?
They put it online. They put there, if you have any questions.
Okay,
Tom turned his in online also.
Okay,
So
can we
Marcia,
please move forward?
Input, discussion or debate.
Yeah, I have various questions, so, on the excuse, well, okay, so the candidate application form within a month period, 30 calendar days of filling the vacancy, page 9, where is that candidate application form? Who submits it? I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever filled it out.
When you never filled out the candidate form when you read?
when you remember,
Okay, so why would it be
Would it
30
say
days
clerk?
after filling the vacancy?
Are you page 9?
so like, let's say Aaron, if you feel.
Right now,
like
Aaron
you
just filled the vacancy, has 30 days to fill out that application. If
Why
he
would
does
we
it,
wait so long? is my
It says a month, but we want your, because it could be, some people who previously who have filled in the board seat, they never filled out the application. So that's why we want to be specific.
Well, my question is, why would we wait so long? Why isn't this 10 days?
They didn't have a timeline before, so we're just suggesting a month.
So, and I'm suggesting we should have this
10
information
days.
sooner after someone,
Gets on the board.
gets on the board. That way we have all their information and we know that they in fact are a stakeholder, and if we want to vet them, we can in fact vet them.
But
You gotta go.
sometimes, when we,
Okay, so that's, you're requesting that to reduce it from 30 days to 10 days. The suggestion.
when we have to do our.
when they did their meetings, why didn't you go to those meetings to help them?
Because I have a lot of health issues, and this is where I want to vet it publicly when there's people here. Unfortunately, everybody's loud. So it's not my fault. I mean, I understand everyone's upset with me, but it's not my fault that business gets started so late.
No, it's,
Okay, so my next one is on page 9 again. It says any director that is 3 times late or leaves 3 times early. So now that we don't have,
So if If you guys wanna keep on hearing these, I guess we take it
Take
outside
it
or
outside.
we adjourn the meeting.
Do a continuation.
Adjourn the meeting.
And then we can go to location, and that would.
That's it.
We're still here, but we can do it outside.
Outside.
We're still here, but do it outside or adjourn the meeting.
We have to meet outside because we gotta close this.
We have to close.
No, there was an adjournment, it was a motion to adjourn and I seconded it.
I agree with the motion to adjourn.
Okay, hold on.
Take a vote.
Hold on, I'm gonna take my notes. Mark down what's happening.
Do we need to put away the chair?
Don't worry about it, I got it.
Captain,
Pretty much.
Hugo.
Second.
You go second.
Put this first public. You can't just bring it up and post it in the library. I know.
Sorry. Oh, hey,
9:38.
Crazy.
George. Whose names are in there?
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, 9:38, raise your hand. 1, 2, all those in favor of adjourning the meeting, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In favor of adjourning the meeting, raise your hand. 7, 8.
Done.
Okay, that's it. Yes.